Thank you, and good evening, everyone, or afternoon, wherever we are here at the 5 o'clock hour. KVSH, Valentine, Nebraska, proudly presenting some Badger Wrestling for you tonight on KVSH, presented by Nelson Insurance, and they're on South Hall Street in Valentine now. We'll tell you more about them in just a moment, but let's pause for the national anthem. National anthem performed as we get ready for tonight. Again, Badger Wrestling presented by Nielsen Insurance. They work for you, working on your side when you have a loss and follow through to see that you get a fair and prompt settlement. Call Jason, Patty, or Darlene at Nielsen Insurance at 402-376-1865. Jason Keller, longtime supporter, former coach here. Speaking of former coaches, we brought, well, I shouldn't say former coach because Shane Allison hasn't exactly retired yet. You're still coaching some junior high stuff, aren't you, Shane?
Yeah, still some junior high stuff. Retired from the high school.
So we're going to start things off with what we got going on this year tonight. Can you hear me? Can you hear that? Something is not, let's set it with all of our equipment here. Let me, give me a mic. I think. Now we should be a little bit long headset picked up there. I had three of them, so Robert Joseph said next up. Three, you're still doing some coaching on the junior high level and working with, I think, the youth program, aren't you? Just fresh out of junior high girls wrestling practice. We had a short one, so we can come over here and watch this and enjoy the show. Should be some good matchups tonight. The format we're going to use, it sounds like Valentine against Gothenburg in the boys' competition to start things on. And then we're going to get Gothenburg against Broken Bow. So there's going to be a little bit of a pause for Valentine in our coverage while Broken Bow and Gothenburg wrestle it out for about an hour or so. And they're going to be back when it gets really exciting because the Valentine girls will be out. They'll be wrestling against the Broken Bow girls. And then we'll get the boys for Broken Bow and Valentine on the mat. Always some great matches when we see these three teams get together.
Yeah, and Bow and Valentine are both ranked teams, and Gothenburg's got a really solid dual team. I think they're pretty much full with their lineup. They got kids out there that have been pulling upsets this year. I've been kind of following along, and they've been beating some ranked kids, and they got some good ones.
We're going to take a quick break as they meet the captains out here before the match tonight here on KVSH and KVSH.com. We'll be back after a word from the sports team, and Nielsen Insurance will be back in 60 seconds. That's all right. our first match underway. It's a big one for us tonight, Shane. We start at 132.
Yeah, Jakai Williams actually, I believe he's going for his 100th win in high school in this match right here. So this is a big win. I think Jakai is a heavy favorite in this match. As they start off, the Gothenburg kids doing a nice job of playing defense right here, but Jakai is going to get the takedown right here.
Jakai looks like he's going right to work in here, and he just improved year after year when we seen him last year. Going to get 2 and then 1 for an escape as he gives that one up, or 3 for the takedown, and then the 1 that they'll put up on the board there for his opponent from Gothenburg.
Yeah, Jakai got him with the side by that first time. Now he's working for an arm drag there, coming around behind, another takedown for Jakai, who takes a 6-1 lead. I tell you, with these 3-point takedowns and 4-point near falls, these matches can get out of hand in a hurry.
He's wrestling against a sophomore, I believe, Brigham Rickley at 132, unless they bounce some things around. That's one thing is we don't usually end up finding out for sure if they bump people from weight class to weight class and find out for sure. We could probably follow along with...
yeah, I'm on track wrestling right here. It is Rickley, Brigham Rickley, who's the one who signed in. And Jakai was up to a 9-2 lead already in the first quarter. I like the fact that he's coming out on the offense here and really getting his offense going.
Took kind of a long shot on that one, and Rickley's able to pull the leg back and not let Jakai in. Rickley does take a little shot. That's not going to work out for him, as it's defended very well by Jakai with just 24 seconds left to go in the first period. If he can get his right leg free, he's going to get another 3 here.
Yeah, he's got it locked up. He's got that leg elevated, and he's getting swipes here. He's going to go up 16-3 in the first period. He can get another quick turn here. He could end this in the first period. There it is, a tilt. 1.
Got a couple seconds left on the clock. He gets about a 3 count.
He gets a 3 count, and that's it. 19-3.
19-3, and congratulations to Kyle Rick. So Jakai Williams, a senior, invites the referee to come in and picture with him. So
he's got a banner made for him. That's pretty awesome. That's a huge accomplishment, 100 wins in your high school career.
To do it at home is really great.
Yes, like being from the home crowd on your home mats. I mean, it's not even better. He's going to go over and shake Coach Tom Scott's hand from Gothenburg. Tom Scott was a former Valentine assistant coach here. He coached with me for about 5 or 6 years before he moved on and took on the Gothenburg job. So some alum going over on the other side.
So if we go up to the next weight class is 138, Gage Sandoz of Valentine. And
Gage is just a freshman. Coming out, he's still kind of getting his feet wet here. He's wrestling hard. I watched him at the Valentine Empire. I've been following along. He goes out there and wrestles hard, but freshman 138 pounds is it's kind of tough. He's going to be wrestling some upperclassmen, but he's got a lot of potential.
He gets a freshman here, though, so we're pretty evenly matched in there. Both guys are freshmen. Gage has had a lot of experience right now with probably already 25 matches this point in the season as they try to get a handle on each other out there. We'll see what this freshman is. Reed Walgren from Gothenburg.
Yeah, 25 matches at the first part of January, or middle of January, that's impressive. It used to be going to the state tournament with 25 matches, so they're getting a lot more matches in now, going to bigger tournaments, and just getting a lot of mat time, and that's going to benefit Gage. And I know he's seen some stiff competition through these tournaments that he's going to. Right there, Gothenburg shoots in on a high cross, but Gage looks like he hasn't measured. He's got some good defense going here. He's got the sprawl going. He's trying to get that near ankle and come around behind him. There he's got the ankle, and he's going to collect the takedown.
Nice job there to fend that off and then turn it into 3 points for his own as we get the halfway mark in this first period.
He had that kid's hand on his back in no time, so he's working for a turn here already. He's in good shape here. This is if he can get that threaded right there, we call this threading the needle, he's going to come around. This might end in a pin right here. Gage has got him. Yep, he's got him to his back here, and I don't think this kid's going to get out of this.
Well, he's got a lot of time to spend on his back, 30 seconds left on the edge of the mat, but he's going to try to scoot out if he can. Gage will try to keep his legs and body in, and there's a point. a fair market pin. Stop by to get your smash burger, your chicken fingers, or your salad there at the Bull Market in Valentine. And we've got a Bull Market pin by freshman Gage Sandoz tonight.
Yeah, great work by the freshman out there. Excited to watch his career to develop here as he goes through the ranks here. He's, like I said, I coached him in junior high. He's come through our club. He's got a ton of potential. Just figuring things out right now.
See who Valentine is going to put out here now at our next weight class, which would be at 140. Cole Bays comes out.
He's going to accept the forfeit.
So the team score then goes up 17-0 with a pin by Sandoz in there, and the major decision, or the tech fall, first match of the evening by our first wrestler in the 100th win for Ja'Kai Williams, and now Valentine picks up a forfeit, jumping out to a 17-0 lead here. Now Valentine will have some open weight classes a little bit later on, so there'll be some makeups on that.
Yeah, both teams have an open weight class there at 150 pounds, so there's no match at 150 pounds, and we're getting to see the debut of Trevor Bull coming off injury. This is his first match back, the returning state medalist. First match of the year for Trevor.
So this will be bumping us up to the
157.
157 in there, and should be, I can't read in the dark, you know. They got the lights off. Jackson Earl. And we'll see how Trevor had a bareback riding injury from the fall that kind of kept him out of everything, and so he's been working hard conditioning, though.
Good shot and nice defense by Gothenburg kid. Got the underhook and dropped him back up out of that shot. But Trevor's got to work to a little better setup to clear that arm.
So what's the record of Earl from Gothenburg, and does it give you that on the...
It does not give me that on track right now. Right there, sweep single by Burdick. He's going to try to short this. It came right through attempt by Gothenburg and might put himself in trouble. Still fighting, coming to their feet, and Burdick's going to get the takedown.
1:20 left to go, first period, and Burdick's going to go up 3-0 here, working on top now.
Yeah, Burdick, I tell you what, he was really brass. I remember the tutelage of Coach Nelson and Coach Olson and Williams and Fuller. He's really come a long ways in his first 2 years of high school, now a junior. And it looks like he hasn't missed a step out there with that shot. Now this kid tripods up. There's a possibility of a near side cradle there, but Burdick's not going to go to that quite yet. He's going to work on the 2-on-1 wrist tilt here.
Still in control by a 3-0 margin. 40 seconds left to go in the first period. Listening to Badger Wrestling Live. Shane Allison and Mike Burge, myself along with you here. Shane the expert, and I'm here just to kind of man the control. So.
Burdick, he's doing a nice job of keeping pressure on this kid. He's got a whole right ankle. He's going to have to let that go. He's going to get called for stalling. There he lets it go. He's looking to dig the arm out. Doing some great stuff here. I did want to mention, we got a couple people from Valentine going, new inductees into the Hall of Fame, the Wrestling Coaches Hall of Fame here. So I'll talk about that. I was about to go out of bounds here, but Coach Nelson, Marcus Nelson, 3-time state champ from Valentine, he's going into the Coaches Hall of Fame.
He's too young.
As a competitor, he's going in, not as a coach, he's going in as a competitor. And so he's going into the Hall of Fame. And then Bonnie Price is going into the Hall of Fame as a contributor. So we got 2 more Hall of Fame inductees from Valentine showing up there.
Into the first period, and it's 3-0. That first takedown there by Trevor Burdick here at 150 and 157, doing a great job there, controlling things. I know he's been conditioning. I've talked to Trevor a couple of times, and he's been anxious to get out there. Coaches had always just kind of said, we'll know when it's right, and tonight's the night to try to get out and get a match in anyway and see how this first one goes, decide if there's one against Broken Bow coming up a little bit later on. Both wrestlers on their feet starting the second period.
Yeah, this is something, and there's really no way to get into shape for wrestling without just wrestling. Yeah, well, you can do all the running that you want, but I tell you, it's a little bit different. Kaufman comes in with the fireman's carry. He's going to fight Burdick's on his hip here. He's going to give up this takedown. So I'm a little concerned about Burdick's conditioning. I guess we'll see how it turns out here. I know he's been working hard, but like I said, there's no substitute from just hard wrestling.
Now tied up 3-3 with a minute 20 to go, second period. Burdick does end up having to go to his belly.
Yeah, and he's got his arm on his back now. Gothenburg kid's working on this, trying to get that arm. He's trying to work his way up to maybe put Burdick on his back. It's not looking good for Burdick right now, as he's getting close to picking up some back points right here.
Hasn't started to count yet because Burdick's been able to fight it off. There's a 2 count and a 3 count.
And this is getting tight. Burdick, where's Burdick going? Is that going to come out of trouble there? Does come up. 4-0, but gets the escape. Now it's 7-4 now.
I would think with Burdick experience enough, though, he can come back in this one, get another takedown, and just tie things up if he can. Earl is a junior.
Yeah, this kid's showed some good stuff here. Right now, Burdick's working a right-handed underhook. Maybe that's sort of single leg side, maybe a throw single type mover is what he's looking for, but I'm not sure if we're tired or if we're just kind of conserving some energy right here.
10 seconds left to go here. It'd be nice to see a shot before the end of this second period, as Burdick is down by 3, but it doesn't look like either wrestler is going to take a shot on that one.
Very willing to go in the next period of 7-4.
So once again,
Gothenburg's going to go neutral. This kind of surprises me here.
Third period starting, and Trevor Burdick down by 3 as we get things started in this final period for Trevor Burdick.
I thought Gothenburg might go down there. He did get the escape on Burdick before. He's working out Russian 2-on-1 tie. Burdick's trying to fight out of it. Now Gothenburg kid goes underhook on the right side.
So we get some more wrestling coming our way throughout the year. We'll talk a little bit more about that coming up as well, with girls district wrestling on their own. Boys district, there's a shot in.
Good shot. He's on the edge of the mat, and he needs to pull this in. There is a new rule now. We need 1 point of contact in back to get the takedown. But the kid was reached off the mat. So 1 point of contact, but as soon as anything hits the gym floor off the mat, they call it out, and that's what happened right there.
And just 1 more foot on the edge in front of the scorer's table, because there's a pretty good gap in there between the edge of the mat and the scorer's table. And Earl comes right back and ties up a leg.
Good hooks by Burdick here. You don't want to give this kid the angle. Now the kid comes around. He's going to collect this takedown. Possibly get. It doesn't have it yet, but it's close. Now he's got a corner lock up. This could be trouble for Burdick.
56 seconds left.
There's the pin. Gothenburg kid's excited, and they should be. Just be a good kid. I just think that I'm going to chalk that one up to this being Burdick's first match out. He's just not quite conditioned to well enough wrestling-wise quite yet. Just not there yet, but he'll be there by the end of the year.
Parker Chavez now. The lineup for Valentine gets pretty steep right now. Parker Chavez having a great year. You mentioned about the tournaments that Valentine goes through. They went to a 2-day Rapid City tournament, went to a 2-day Columbus tournament. It looks like they're going to get a forfeit here in this 165 match.
I thought they had someone for Parker, but evidently they're going to try and bump up some guys, and now they're going to collect a forfeit here at 175 as Jordan Bailey's not quite ready to go. He is on his way back. Looks like he'll be coming back maybe next week, next Tuesday. Talking to coaches, possibly get in there next week.
Well, at 175, certainly a lot of strength out there, and so you want to make sure you're ready to go. And Jordan was battling a shoulder surgery and a shoulder injury and a knee injury from back into football. So,
I think he's just lucky to get him back. This pro kid that he would have to wrestle tonight was a really good kid, and I don't know if that, and the Broken Bow kid's a good kid too at 175. So I think it's maybe good to come out against ranked kids, maybe give him some other matches, get under his belt, with some little less competition, maybe not jump into it right there with the star. I think that kid from Rockford is ranked 3rd or 4th in the state, so I think that's a smart move by coach. Now we went to 190 with Rustin Woody. Rustin that Gothenburg kid, this Gothenburg kid's a pretty stout-looking kid. I think Parker Chavez used to wrestle this kid last year, so we'll see how Weston fares against him.
Probably a pretty decent opponent for the Swedes, kind of a little shorter, kind of about the same build in there, but Weston Woody's had some good matches this year, so we'll see how this young man can fare out for the Valentine Badgers. Just a sophomore.
Yeah, he's went 2-2, I think, down there at Columbus, so he won some matches. He's out there competing. Sophomore at 190 pounds, usually wrestling a lot of upperclassmen. But he's coming on. He's a hard-working kid. He's very coachable. He's just going to get some more experience.
This is going to be a senior who's going against Harlan Brockwald at 190 in here as the two guys get squared up to start things off. Our team score right now, 23-12. We started at 132 with Jakai Williams getting a win there and his 100th win of his career. We're up to 190 right now. So we'll see if the Badgers can pull things out and stay in the lead against Gothenburg Swedes.
Good little set-up attempt by Woody. Kind of changed levels there. Didn't really super commit to it, but it wasn't there. Now Gothenburg dives in on a shot. Good defense by Woody. He's got to keep that leg back, keep that leg straight. He's got the ankle. He's got the Gothenburg kid on his belly. This would be a big win for Valentine if we're able to pull this match out. There goes behind for the takedown.
Good job by Woody, and now Brockfeld gets up to his feet, going out of bounds, and Woody circles around, comes right back in, pushes him back in bounds. Good job by the young sophomore. Now a trip move by Woody.
Yeah. He's got looks like that kid's looking for a little roll, possibly. Gotta be careful of something like that. He gets to his feet and he's out.
3-1 with 1 minute to go first period.
That's good stuff by Woody right there. He wrestled hard, wrestled through a little scramble there after the takedown. Now he's back. Gothenburg dives back in. Good sprawl. They come back to their feet in an over-under situation. Now they clear out.
Well, with the big tournaments that we've gone to, if these wrestlers are willing to learn, you got a good coaching staff like we've got right now. Again, you can really advance during the season if you're willing to pay attention and learn.
Yeah, I always told the wrestlers I wanted their toughest match of the season to come before the state tournament. And I think that's Coach Nelson kind of on the same page with that as far as seeing good competition, and because they expose your weaknesses, and you definitely don't want your weaknesses exposed at the state tournament. Let's just expose our own weaknesses early in the tournament so we know what to work on so that we're ready to go when the state tournament comes.
10 seconds left to go first period. Woody up 3-1. Got in a little trouble there. It looked like a double underhook, and now time's going to expire in the first period, and Woody's going to be up by 3-1 margin. So
a good period for Woody. Really nice period for him.
We got a blood timeout, it looks like. Gives us an opportunity to step aside and hear from the KVSH sports teams. We'll be back in just 30 seconds. Welcome back to Valentine High School. Not too late to join us. We're just halfway through the first match, Valentine against Gothenburg, and we still got a couple more matches to go. Valentine girls and against Broken Bow, boys against Broken Bow. Let's start the second period.
Yeah, Gothenburg starts down here. Now, Gothenburg did a nice job of coming up on that first period. We'll see how it goes here. Good ride by Woody. He's kind of got a wing right there. He's working to break him down. Good pressure. He's kind of busting. I'd like to see him get that other wrist up, and that hand slips up to the shoulder, and it's called potentially dangerous. Got to keep that hand straight across the back when you got that wing in, otherwise the ref's going to call it potentially dangerous.
Back to the referee's position. Weston will cover up on the left side. Right hand tight waist to restart this second period. Woody still up 3-1.
I like seeing, worked on that wing. This kid does a nice job of knee sliding forward and getting out, and now it's 3-2. I think Woody, as long as he stays on his toes here, I don't think this kid's got a shot that can take Woody down unless he just kind of really does a better job of setting Woody up as what he's been doing. There's another shot, but well measured by Woody. Woody's doing a really good job defensively, but he's also, he's out there competing. He's looking for his own offense as well.
Yeah, he's got a hand on that shoulder and kind of keeps him at arm's length.
By the way, the top from the Express switches to a center. He's got it up in the air. Got to run the pocket. He's going to bring up Howard. Now, this is where he's going to go back to that trick. Slid down to his butt right there. They're still scrambling. Good job by Gothenburg. I think Woody went for it just a little too soon. He maybe need to stay with that trip action rather than try and come up to the waist. But
back into 45 seconds left to go. It's a 1-point match. Woody with the lead.
There's that carry again. I tell you, real through somehow. Now Woody's got to circle around as he's stuck in a front headlock right here. He's going to get caught in the corner. This could be trouble. Giving up some back points.
27 seconds left in a cradle.
Yeah, he's got to get flat here and stay flat. He's got to get on his belly, work on those hands.
18 seconds left.
Short time of the period. If you can fall out of this, I think he's got a chance in the third period. This kid looked like he's maybe getting a touch tired to finish the third.
Just 9 seconds left to go in that second period. Woody gets caught and put on his back in a pin, so it just goes to show you how quick things can turn in a match. Woody had a good match going in there, made one little mistake, and it cost him a pin.
You know, that's the second Family's carry that Gothenburg was hit here, and Valentine's digging underhooks, and Gothenburg, they're not down blocking that carry, so we just got to be ready for that.
So we'll see if Valentine has anybody.
Yeah, we got James Ward coming out. James Monroe, sorry.
James Monroe coming out here at 215. Got a little height that looks like advantage on the 215-pounder from.
Now this is James' first year ever wrestling. This is his first year that he's ever stepped on the mat. He just decided to give the sport a chance this year. So he's learning. He's in the learning process right now. So he does have a couple of wins on the year. He went down to Gothenburg's JV. They sent him to the JV rather than the Columbus tournament. And he did get a couple of wins down there. I don't know if he met this kid that he's wrestling right now at that tournament. I do not have that information. But
I think this is A.J. Holston, a sophomore. Does that look about right?
Yeah, I think so. And
they have two 215-pounders lined up there, it looks like.
No, this is Hayden Pesic.
Okay, this is Hayden Pesic, Jr.
Yep. There's a shot by James. He gets caught on his knees, circles back up to his feet. That's a good job right there. Take an attempt. If it's not there, get out of trouble. He did a nice job there of that.
So we tick away here, almost halfway done through the first period. Both these, traditional kind of with the big guys, is kind of feel each other out, push each other around a little bit, kind of adjust things and figure out what might be available. And James has to adjust his headgear. It slipped a little bit.
I like what James is doing so far. He's wrestling kind of within himself. He's not trying to do things that are too crazy, Sometimes you get first-year wrestlers and they come out and they want to wrestle like Jordan Kelby wrestled, and you don't realize that Jordan had a lot of years of experience coming into that. So he's doing a nice job of positioning here, staying in pretty good position. I'd like to see his stance a little lower, but Rothenberg's not real low in his stance either.
So, and I think this is a match that, this 215-pounder for Gothenburg is not a physical specimen.
Good shot by James Monroe. Nice job. Good defense by Gothenburg. Nice little scramble from the big guys.
Couldn't hang on to that leg, but he got it back.
Climbing back up there. They come back to their feet. Good little sequence there from the first-year wrestler.
So 15 seconds left to go in this first period. There's still no score. It looked like maybe James was going to get a takedown on that one, possibly. We'll see if there's any shot before the end of the first period. We go to the second period, scoreless. Gothenburg kind of checks the clock out a little bit in there, and there's the whistle. No score in the first period. James Monroe trying to win this match here in front of the home crowd. Probably the last time we're going to see the Badgers at home this year.
Well, we'll wrestle next Tuesday.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and I was really impressed there with James because, shot recovery, when you miss a shot, is a skill that takes some time to learn it. And James did a nice job with that time of recovering off of that shot when he missed it. Now he's on bottom, he's trying to get up as a 2-on-1 for Gothenburg. Valentine's kind of struggled on bottom a little bit this year, so it's something that they need to work on. I know the coach has been working on it.
James on all forwards here.
Yeah, they've got a good forward pressure by the Gothenburg forward. Every time James looks like he's coming up, he chops and gets pulled to the side. Now James he's got to slide those knees forward, get his hips under him so he can come up to his feet. Got to get his left leg closed, like I was riding over top of that left leg.
Hasn't really been able to try to take James now. He does take James back down to the mat, but bellied out. 1:14 to go, second period.
He's got kind of a butcher here, so this will be trouble. He's going to hit James over on his back, and James figure out points here. See if he can fight off his back. Switches, changing off back and forth.
The thing about changing back and forth there is a lot of times the guy on top tightens up.
Sometimes, you go. It's a good deal. James is able to fight off his back. That's a great job by James Monroe. He looked on the right side. Catch his breath a little bit here.
35 seconds left to go in the second period. Now James down 4-0. If he could get the energy, it'd be nice to see a 1 here before the end of this second period.
Yeah, so if you can bring it within 3 points, then a takedown ties it. So
19 seconds and ticking.
James keeps going to come up to his feet. Sometimes you got to work to center forward. No, he's able to get to his feet. For 10 seconds. That's a huge one.
Wow, so now just catches air a little bit here and go to the third period, try to get that takedown. I think wrestler from Gothenburg is using a lot of energy up as well.
Yeah, both these guys look a little tired. Gothenburg's choice, he's going to go neutral. That's just where James wants to be, I think. So that's good for James. Now James almost had a takedown earlier in the match.
Got to go for 2 hard minutes in here now to try to get a takedown, tie things up, maybe turn to the back in there.
I've done some talking with James, and I think he didn't realize how hard this sport is. He's physically grueling, and he's learning it. And I know he's working hard in the practice room, but it's a tough sport. It takes a lot out of you. You use muscles that you didn't even know you had. So
at this point, I think I just want to call a timeout, catch my breath, come back in 60 seconds.
At this point, I still wouldn't be wrestling because I'm too out of shape to be going 3 periods. I can tell you that right now.
Well, down by a score of 4-1, 1:23 to go. James is going to have to make a move, but Gothenburg wrestler not taking a shot either.
He's going to have to find something else to go to here. I just don't know if he's got the energy to finish his shot unless he's really got it set up to finish the takedown. Maybe a slide by or snap down and go behind. But he's wrestling hard, and the fact that he fought off his back, if he's able just to keep this to a regular decision, that's going to save Valentine 3 team points rather than getting pinned there. So a lot of fight from James from here to go off his back for his team. Now he takes a shot. Gothenburg's trying to spin around behind. He's not blocking the armor. James has still got a fighting chance. He's going to give up the takedown here. Now we've got 40 seconds. Sometimes, maybe a little wrong or something, you can catch the guy with the reversal and back points.
His headgear slipped again. The scoreboard still said 23-18.
Yes.
But is that...
I think that's right.
I thought we had 23 last time I looked, and that was before we got a forfeit, but I'm not sure. I don't know if they put Parker's up there.
I'll double check here on track wrestling.
Well, because this one is a big one if it ends up being a decision.
Well, Parker's match is up there. That's the correct score right now.
Okay.
So just can't go to our back here. We've got 25 seconds left. Gothenburg's going to push hard. If I was Gothenburg, I would try to go for another takedown and try and get at least the major, but... And James builds for his pace. James still wrestling hard here. He's still trying. That's all we can ask out of the kid. Now he comes up and gets in the scale. It's at 7-2. Shoots in. That was a lot of try from that first year wrestler. Still shooting. He's dead tired, but he's still being offensive. Play at the end of the match. Fight off his back. Saves Valentine 3 team points there. They still got the lead to be 23-21 right now.
And we're going to go to our next wrestler. I think Valentine is open at heavyweight.
Yes, we are. We don't have any big kids that decide to come out and try and wrestle this year. So But there were one or two in the school that they just decided not to go out for anything this winter.
So we started at 132, so that means we'll drop back down to 106 in Braden Steck. Now, Braden was ranked in the state to start the season. He had an injury, I think, in a off-wrestling tournament before the season started. Came back, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, well, he came back last week for Gothenburg, and he kind of got hurt in the first match. And I don't know if how bad he was hurt, but it definitely scared him, and I think he pulled out of the tournament there. And I wasn't sure he was going to wrestle. I just found out today he was wrestling. I thought maybe he was done, but he's here, and he's a tough little guy.
I talked to Marcus Nelson a little bit about that before, because I know at the Norm Manstead tournament last weekend he did have some medical forfeits, but he said, yeah, he got checked out and he was really ready to go. But that's kind of Braden's attitude too. If I can go, I'll go.
Yeah, and I tell you, this kid's got some size on Braden. He's a big 6-pounder. He drops under a shot, but Braden is tricky. I mean, Braden will catch you on your back from a lot of different positions here.
As we've said over the years, a lot of this coming from that junior wrestling program and wrestling off season.
Yep.
To get that mat time that you need.
And he's done a lot of it. He's been all over the country wrestling, so and he loves the sport. There he goes. He's gonna get a foot in. He keeps keep a foot on him. He's gonna get the takedown, I believe.
Had the kid land on through on his back on the edge of the mat, so Braden gets the takedown, goes up 3-0. And got one and a half hands. Now they're both out. Yeah. So they call it out. But nice job there by turning that into some points on the edge of the mat.
Well, and Braden's tough with the legs. He likes to throw the legs in when he's on top. So I'd love to see that happen right here.
So up by a score of 3-0, they resume the match. 1:11 to go, first period. Valentine now trails team-wise 27-23. This would be a big match for Valentine to stay in contention with some more good wrestlers coming up.
He's going to get some back points here. Just that one swipe.
How do you do that without, it just looked like he slipped right into that one.
Yeah, he threw the legs in and that kid tried to go and he just cross-faced him down. Now he's working on a power half right here. This looks tough. He's got 45 seconds to go here. He's getting back points. He might get the pin right here. And like I said, he's a pinner.
Braden Steck looking to pick up some big points here for the Badgers with 27 seconds left to go. And they stopped the match in there.
I don't know why they stopped it.
24 seconds left to go, first period, and Braden, nice first period, up 7-1, and he's still got 24 seconds left to work with.
I think maybe he got locked around the head without the arm, I'm not sure. But there's the legs in again on the whistle. 18 seconds. He's going to look for another turn here.
Trying to get some more points in here.
Well, there's a half again. Looking for points by the end of the period. Only 7 seconds left.
Cranking hard on that one.
He's going to get 2 swipes there. 3 swipes. Game 1 near fall.
Loses the clock. Not on his side that time. So, going to get 10-1 lead. A major decision right now for Braden Steck. And that is just the first period for this young man.
Gothenburg's going to choose top. You don't see this a whole lot, but he's not going to choose bottom again because
he just got
turned like a top. So Braden starts down, immediately comes to his feet, reaches back, tries to... He's doing a nice job by Gothenburg riding and keeping full pressure here. Now he's got Steck kind of broke down. He's looking to throw runs on himself, but Steck does a nice job of keeping his legs clear there.
So Braden Steck in this 106-pound weight class. And they had listed their wrestler was Brecken Carlston.
Hey, Steck's coming in on a reversal. He's going immediately back in. But he's up 12-1. One more turn for 4 and this match is over.
12-1 in here. Badgers down by 4 team-wise. And he's just waiting for Carlson to move something so he knows where to go when next with 106 to go.
He's like a power half again right here. He's got straight man on. He's going in front of. He's getting swipes. Let's see if we can get the pin here. I think he's got the forward air fall, so he's got the tech fall. And that's going to be the match. Tech fall, 16-1.
So it's really stuff, when you look at these two guys coming out, matching up. He's got a little height on Bowden, and it looked like you said, a pretty good size 106 pounder, and Bowden maybe overestimated this young man.
I'd say Bowden's a little bit on the size there, so not a lot, but he's not a real big 106 pounder, but he is a tough kid, and he's got a lot of wrestling. He's dangerous.
Got to make him feel good about his shoulder, too. Going through and working that period. Valentine's going to pick up a forfeit at 113.
That's too bad. I was really hoping to see Buckland wrestle here.
So Buckland's not going to get a match. Yeah, we need these matches in here, and now we should be going to 120 and Parker Wackler for Valentine.
2 matches to go. Scores 34-27. Gothenburg has to win them both.
Valentine running over it, I think, coming up at one of those.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Parker Wackler coming out here as a freshman. Again, Parker wrestled in junior high, but not a ton of club experience. He's coming out here and battling with guys. He's got a couple wins on the season. I did not know much about this Gothenburg kid.
They got Jackson Reddy and Lucas Therian lined up for him. Either one of those. One's a sophomore, and Therian gets in on a Gothenburg a quick cinder leg in there and takes Badgers Wackler back to the mat. Hasn't got the 3 points.
This is Gabe Hogan.
So they must have switched some people around there for us. Oh, he's listed as, is this 126?
This is 120.
Oh, well, they've got Gabe Hogan listed at 126 on their roster.
He made a descent down to 120, evidently.
And out of bounds. Parker down by a score of 3-0, down to the referee's position. 126 left to go, first period.
I'll say this about Parker. Parker's going to keep wrestling. He's not going to give up. He's going to wrestle hard the whole time. He's got to look out for this cradle here.
You got that near-side cradle.
Yep, Gothenburg's got it locked up. Doing a nice job of trying to fight this off here. You got to get flat to your ball and get it stay as flat as you can.
It's got that leg.
Yeah, it's just trying to stay off his back right here and trying not to get turned.
I don't think as long as he's got that leg and you get him turned out, he breaks it off the leg.
Now we're looking at possible reversal here.
Got a little bit of time there, has to readjust his position, but going to give up some back points here. Give up 3-2 now with the reversal, 2-point reversal.
Guy can't get home. He's getting in trouble. He's got his head pulled down here. This could be trouble. Sneaking out of it.
Parker snuck back down to his belly in here, but gives up 2 points.
Gives up the reversal, but luckily not to get pinned there. You know, he was in trouble there with his head getting pulled under.
Yeah, kind of got a little high and his head pulled over and under and on his shoulders for a second, but
this is big. At the end of the period, you always want to finish the match. Scoring at the end of the period. We've got 8 seconds left on the restart here, down 5-2. If we get a quick escape or reversal, this guy doesn't have a chance to score points back. That's huge at the end of periods.
Parker didn't get a lot of movement off the whistle to restart. Does get up to one leg.
He's kind of hopping over here. If he would have got that leg cleared, then he step over. If the other leg, he would have had it.
Close in there, but doesn't come up with any points at the end of the first period. So Parker Wackler down by a score of 5-2. Here to start period number 2, and both wrestlers, they choose to go up in here. Parker thinks maybe he can get something done on his feet. Down by 3.
Not sure where Parker's feet are. He gives up a single leg takedown. Makes it 8-2 there. And Parker's got to be a little bit more conscious of where his feet are at and keeping a good stance. Kind of got switched lead legs there, and that kid fell right to a single. And, when they're shooting on your, what's usually your back leg, sometimes it's a little tougher to defend. You're just not as practiced at defending with that back leg.
Giving up the 3, it's going to be 8-2 in here with a minute 20 to go. Second period, Parker trying to get up, but steps up too close to the head and almost gave up the cradle in there. I can't see.
He's got locked up again, but he's going to try and, they tried that reverse, the same reversal they did, but this time the Gothenburg kid was ready for it. A minute left. We're on their back here. This is going to be tough to fight off.
Just a reminder that we've got a little break after this one before Valentine girls wrestle Broken Bow girls in about an hour from when we're done with this match.
Score is 8-2. Gothenburg's got him on his back here. He's got 4 near fall coming. But Parker's be great if he could not give up this pin here. We're going to fight for a third period.
30 seconds left to go.
Back and forth a little bit. Really fighting hard. Like I said, Parker's not going to give up out there. He's just going to keep wrestling the whole time. He's showing a lot of fight here because it's tough to stay off your back for that, or hold off a pin for a minute.
15 seconds.
That's exactly what he's been doing.
Keep going. 10 seconds left to go in this second period to keep them close.
5 seconds. It's tight. He's fighting it off. And he survives. Man, that's tough to do, to fight off your back for a full minute there.
So
not give up the pin.
Parker's going to be down by 10 points, 12-2, but gets another shot at it here in the third. Anything can happen if he can catch this Gothenburg wrestler, both in the up position to start the final period.
Gothenburg fires in on a shot. Probably not the greatest defense there. Gothenburg's going to score the takedown, make it 15-2. Now a turn here is going to be a tech fall, so Parker's got to try and find a way to turn the tables on him here. He's got him flattened out. Gothenburg's got Parker flattened now. He builds to his base. Parker does. Gets broken back down. Kind of giving up his wrist there. Again, fighting to come back to his knees, but just not quite able to. Kid's got good pressure on him. Now he throws a leg in. He's got the arm behind the back, does he? Looks like it.
Yeah. Gothenburg trying to get a turn again in here, but up by 13 points. Parker getting turned to give up back points again.
He kicked out of it, but he'd already given up the two near falls, so it didn't matter. It looked like he was going to, if he would have had 1 point closer, he would have had that kid in trouble.
So he ends up losing 17-2 the final, and now it's a 2-point match, and we've come down to this final match. Ronan Valentine, and Gothenburg's wrestler. We'll find out who that's going to be, but Ronan's got to win this one.
Winner take all here, final bout.
Couldn't have it any other way, right?
That's right, that makes it fun. I tell you what, I like having Ronan over out there on the mat in this situation. Ronan's been wrestling really well. He had a great tournament down at Columbus. Had some great wins. I know he got fourth, but that tournament was a tough tournament, especially in his weight class. So that was a good tournament for Ronan. He right there fires in on a double, hits him up, slams him down. Nice takedown by Ronan.
That sent a message.
Yes, now he's going to cut him loose. He ain't done it, right? I want to pick you up again.
That was a hard one there. And I don't know who this wrestler is for sure, but right back in on another one. And
oh, man, I thought we got 2 near fall out of it.
They're driving back into the mat.
I love this. Grabs him by the ankle and drags him back in the middle of the mat. I love that.
Says we're not done yet. Then he turns him loose. Yeah. So he's up by a score of 8-2 in here. And Ronan Eggert
firing off another attack. Another single leg sweep single. Gets it. Now he's got the guy in trouble. He's going to put him to his back right here. This might be it.
Yeah, he is in tight with 1:03 to go, and Ronan Eggert, unless he decides to, he's not going to let up on this one.
I think he's going to put this match away right here. He's going to adjust back. There it is. I think Ronan Eggert might be the wrestler of this duel. Just the way he come out firing. I think he got 3 takedowns in a minute, and just an outstanding job by Ronan Eggert there getting on the offense.
That is another Bull Market pin. Stop by the Bull Market on Highway 20 in Valentine. Check out what Robert and Lacey have there for you. A smash burger with special sauces on it. That is a pin brought to you by Bull Market here in Valentine. And keep track of the draw bar as well. But what a way to finish that one. I didn't catch the final score when they put that one up there, but Valentine wins the duel. I think it would have been about 40 to 32, I believe.
Final score, yes, 40-32 Valentine.
So Valentine wins the first duel of the night for the boys, 40 to 32. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We'll get the comments here from Coach Allison right after this 60-second timeout. Valentine Badgers get two bull market pins in there, Gage Sandos and Ronan Eggert to finish things off right there. But the big news of the night, Valentine wins the duel, and Jakai Williams gets his 100th win of his career. Talk a little bit, Coach, about how big of an achievement that is in high school wrestling right now.
Well, to have 100 wins in anything is extremely tough to do. You know, I mean, that's just a lot of matches. I mean, 100 matches, you think you're 100 wins. They're getting more matches these days than what they used to, but still 100 wins is a great accomplishment.
And I would say that Jakai's probably got, at least 15, 20 matches left of the year. 15 matches anyway.
Yeah, and I tell you, Jakai's wrestling really well right now. Won the High Plains tournament over some ranked kids. I believe they got him ranked, I think, like third in the state right now, but I don't know. They can't, and he's pretty focused. I've stepped into practice a couple of times this year, and he looks locked in when they go in there and see him. And he's going to have an outstanding year, an outstanding finish to his year. I just know it.
So you've spent 2 decades of your life coaching high school wrestling or more. Where do you think the Badgers are at this point? Here we are, middle of January. You're a month from the state tournament. You got some big matches coming up.
Yeah, I do, and I think that they're going to be happy that they have that month because Trevor Burdick needs some more matches. Obviously, he came out tonight and he wrestled hard, but he looked tired. I mean, and I think lost a match that in a month from now, I don't think he loses that match, you know. But it is his first match out of the year, and this other kid's been wrestling all year. So I'm glad that we got him. Trevor will bounce back. I am not concerned about that. I really like where we're at. I think state tournament-wise, we're in pretty good shape because I think we got some big point scorers. I think Steck has a chance to be a state medalist. Declan Titus is right there with the best kids in the state. Ronan Eggert is wrestling amazing right now. I think he's a state medalist. We talked about Jakai, he's a medalist, and then when you go to Burdick and Chavez, they're both doing really well. So you're talking 7 medalists right there. Just with those guys, that's not counting Gage Sandos and some of these other kids, and Woody and some of these other kids that are working their way back up that could really get on a run too. But 7 state medalists is going to place you top 5 in state, maybe even top 3.
So what I like, when we get down to this time of the year, and pretty soon we'll be doing some district and then the state wrestling, of course, again, is those surprises that you get. You get somebody like James Monroe, Weston Woody, Gage Sandos. They get to that district, things seem to fall into place. They wrestle their best, and they get to go to the state tournament. Maybe people didn't expect them to go.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we had a couple of those last year. And one exciting district that we had last year, and they come back, Valentine, I think, had, 4 or 5 open weight classes last year. And they came down to the wire. They about won that district. I think they lost to Kearney Catholic by 1.5 points or something like that. Just had an outstanding district tournament, and then, wrestled well at state. And Coach Nelson, and and this coaching staff, I think they do a good job of getting these kids prepared for the right time of year. You know, and that's the exciting part is we're not wrestling our best right now. We're wrestling pretty good, but that means we're going to get better.
We've still got room for improvement now. You want to be peaking about 3-4 weeks from now.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, Coach, we're going to have a little break in here as Gothenburg and Broken Bow battle things out. I would suspect by sheer numbers, maybe Broken Bow ends up winning this duel. And then it'll be a dogfight because then we're going to get to see like Parker Chavez and Declan Titus probably wrestle coming up later tonight in the Broken Bow match.
Yeah, and it's always fun to watch those guys wrestle. They got some good, they got a good year, and they got some tough competition this year as well. So I'm excited to watch. It's when Bow wrestles Valentine, it's always a great deal.
We're going to take a break. We're going to step aside. Bunny's got some things planned back at the studios. Again, thanks to Nielsen Insurance in Valentine on Hall Street as they bring you our wrestling coverage on KDSH. At Nielsen Insurance, they represent carefully selected group of insurance companies, and they place your policy with the company offering the best coverage at a competitive rate. Call Jason Patty or Darlene at 402-376-1865. Nielsen Insurance in Valentine, and thanks to the Bow Market, we had 2 Bow Market pins in that match, I believe, with Gerd Sandoz and Ronan Eggert. 106, looks like Bowden Steck won his match 16-1. Declan Titus got a forfeit to come. And, you got them all right up there on Trot Wrestling. I'm going to have to bring that up on my phone. Ronan Eggert ends up picking up 16 points for the Badgers over Jackson Reddy at Gothenburg. Gabe Hagan defeated Parker Wackler in a tech foul. Declan Titus got a forfeit. Bowden Steck won by 16-1. Jasper Matthews got a forfeit in there at heavyweight, 215. It looks like we had James Monroe put up a great battle in the last 7-4 to Gothenburg. Weston Whitty lost in a pin 4 minutes or so into that match. Then we had open at 175. Parker Chavez got a forfeit for Valentine. Bennett came out, wrestled pretty good, but fell in 5 minutes. A little over 5 minutes in that match in a fall to Jacksonville with Gothenburg. Had a double forfeit at 150. Both teams open. Corey Bays of Valentine picked up a forfeit at 134. Gerd Sandoz over Raglan and a nice form 128 over that. We started at 132 where Ja'Kai Williams got a tech foul 19 over Brigham Riceley and his 100th win of the season. So we'll be back in about an hour or so. We'll keep you posted on that when we have the Valentine girls against the Broken Bow girls coming up. Then we'll get the boys on the mat after that as well. So stay tuned to KDSH and KDSH.com.
Senior Samantha Springer, daughter of Matthew and Christina Springer. Senior Jordan Bailey, son of Jennifer Bailey and Jason Hinshu. And senior Jacana Williams, son of Lacey Jackson.
Hey there, it's Mike and our former head coach, now head junior high girls coach, Shane Allison. So we're ready to go, I think. So you got a song going? What's that? Okay. Okay. Thank you, Valentine, and welcome back to the Badger Den here as things lit up with the usual light show to get things ready for the Valentine girls against Broken Bow girls, then Valentine boys against the Broken Bow boys. So some good matchups that we're going to be coming in. Boys matchup will be a top 10 ranked team matchup. Badger Wrestling presented by Nielsen Insurance on KDSH Radio. They do not work for the insurance companies. They work for you, and they work on your side when you have a loss and follow through to see that you get a fair prompt settlement. Jason, Patty, or Darlene at Nielsen Insurance at 402-376-1865. All right, we're going to introduce the Valentine Lady Badgers. Coach Allison, that group has grown significantly here just over the last year.
We're working on filling the squad here. I mean, we've got quite a few out, and this is exciting. And I tell you what, it's not those numbers. We got some quality girls out. We got some returning state qualifier. We got a couple of first-year wrestlers who are showing a lot of promise, and just a lot of fight. I mean, I've been really impressed with our girls so far.
I think of these girls the last couple of years, Regan and Haddison and those guys that were I guess you compare it back to the 60s when Valentine was starting a boys wrestling program, and Mo Tarani went around and grabbed some guys and said, need you on the wrestling team, and that was kind of the girls came up in the junior ranks, and they were kind of the leaders of this thing.
Yeah, and they did. And, you know, I believe our first girls that we had out, Jocelyn Yarborough and Eliana Bloom were the first ones, and they were the Trailblazers. And we just kind of, Emma Richards was in there as well. Emma Richards was one of the Trailblazers as well. So I think we had three that first year, but you know, it's grown into more, and we're going to have more yet. I had 11 junior high girls out this year, so and we got a lot of these high school girls didn't wrestle in junior high. They just were unsure about it and stuff, and they decided to come out as high school. As they announced Allison Miller, there's one of them right there who's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, some of these girls, and I got a chance to watch a couple of them wrestle during the Valentine invite back before the Christmas break, and one of them was, I think the final score was like 29-17. So I mean, they were going after it.
Yeah, you see, again, it's in its infancy, girls wrestling, but it is the fastest growing sport in the United States right now, and has been for the last 2 or 3 years. It's really growing right now, and I expect it to continue to grow and be just as big as the boys here a little longer. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me. Right now they switched it to 2 classes with girls, and it wouldn't surprise me a bit next year they go to 3 classes because it's just getting that big.
Well, I was looking at that because they've got the Class A and B and coming up February 6th and 7th at Ogallala, hosting the district that Valentine is in this year. And with the number of teams and girls, they've got to go to 2 days for the girls, but boys will be 1 day. down at Madison on the 13th.
Yeah, because they passed the rule now they can have 6 matches a day. They don't, used to be 5 matches a day. So they're out of that match, so now you can have a 16-man bracket in one day and no one has to forfeit at the end because of too many matches. So that made the boys able to go to one day, but the girls have outgrown that, so they have to, go to a 2-day.
Looks like we're going to get some forfeits in this match. Valentine has the numbers here. Looks like Broken Bow ends up with like 6 or 7 girls that are going to be suited up for tonight as they get the team captains out there. And we'll take a quick break, and we're going to come back, get our girls wrestling action underway in just 30 seconds.
They don't match up very well either. Don't hit in a lot of spots.
I'm not sure we're going to get matches in here. It looks like Mariana Azacoya is going to get a forfeit at 100 pounds because Broken Bow list is open, and Regan Eggert also at 100 pounds will bump up to 105, I would think, and that is an open class. So doesn't look, well, they got a gal out there, so maybe we're going to bump this one up.
No, I think yep. So Regan will get a match. So that's exciting because Regan is returning state qualified for Valentine. Tough kid. He's had a good year so far.
I almost wonder, do you think they bumped her up to 110 in here to get a match? But that was the next person that Broken Bow had listed as Daisy Henderson, a sophomore.
Unless Regan weighed in above the 100-pound weight class, because you can only bump up one weight class. So, and Coach Rudd had done that. I told her to give her some water so he could bump her up and get her a match. Because that was a great shot by Regan to start this match out, and she gets a takedown. She's up 3-0 already. Now she's going to run this half and redirect it. That's what she does on top, and she is good with it.
Very physical. You know, you kind of wonder about a 100-pound girl getting very physical, but I'll tell you what, Regan likes to get out there and mix it up. So,
yeah, she's a battler, and she's tough on top. Must kind of recognize it because she was really grabbing Regan's hands when Regan was on top. But
Regan's been in the middle on both sides, trying to get a turn in here somewhere. Now she's back kind of parallel, but getting off to that right side, trying to throw the half in.
She's throwing the half in there. She's going to try and redirect it. She's going to go one way, and then she's going to bring it across her lap and then go again back and forth. This girl's a little bit bigger than Regan's used to, I think, so not able to just manhandle her like she is a lot of the 100-pounders.
So after the forfeit, Valentine is going to be up by a score of 6-0 in the team standings in here for the Valentine girls varsity action. Next week, next Tuesday, if you're looking for more Badger wrestling, they've got Triangular coming up with Winter and O'Neill, a couple of strong clubs coming in next Tuesday night.
Regan is working hard on top here. I tell you what, she is really getting after it from the top position, but the Broken Bow girl is just not giving her much. She's just not doing a whole lot, but just trying to stay off her back.
10 seconds left to go here in the first period after that initial takedown, and Regan goes up by a score of 3-0. Now trying to get that turn with a couple seconds left. She does get the turn in the count.
She got 2 near fall there, I think. 3 near fall.
She got saved by the bell for the Broken Bow wrestler in there because, Regan had 15 more seconds to work with on that clock. I think she might have finished that match off right there, but she goes up by a nice 6-0 margin. Her choice here in the second period, she's going to take up, try to get in there on that takedown again.
Yeah, I like the fact that she's got to go another period. You know, it just gets more wrestling in. So that's, the more wrestling you get in, the better. I mean, it's always good to pin people. I think Regan's going to end up with the pin here later. But just a chance to get more mat time. Fires in on another shot right there. This one's blocked off by the Broken Bow girl pretty well. Regan's kind of sprawled out on her knees. Bo's looking defense. Has got her ankle flat. Regan's fighting to come back. Maybe a peek out here would work, but that girl's got her ankle pretty hard. This is a tough situation for Regan. She's going to continue to fight. We might get a stalemate here. No, Broken Bow broke her grip. She's going to clutch a takedown here.
Going to get a reversal out of that.
Yep, 6-3. Yep.
And the whistle blows. It looks like they got
illegal move.
An illegal move. 1 point for Riggin on the bottom, it looks like.
That girl got ran like full Nelson. You can't do that. So I believe this is the 105-pound weight class, so we might have a little bit of a misprint on our program here. Yep, this is 105.
Nice move off the bottom that time, but it didn't quite work for Riggin.
This girl's heavy. She's riding pretty parallel. Now she kind of comes to the side once she gets that half in there. Regan's fighting it off. This girl might do another full Nelson here. We might get another.
Yeah, she's having trouble trying to get and it gets to her feet.
Yep. Now you got to stay low here. Right hands. Oh, went back down. Let's see her stay on her feet right there. Now she turns in and gets a hold of her leg. It's almost like she's in on a shot. But she's still officially on bottom here.
Riggin leads at 7-3 with 20 seconds left to go, second period. But in kind of a defensive position right now.
Yeah. She's got her ankle. Riggins got to get her ankles cleared.
10 seconds left, second period.
Riggin will keep battling, I tell you that. Going to the third period, up 7-3. She's not done wrestling yet. She's going to keep battling here.
It seems like the Broken Bow wrestler is just kind of content, try to stay on top and not really try to get a turn wholeheartedly. And I believe that is going to be that Daisy Henderson.
Yep, that's who I got. And she chose top her for this third period, so she's going to make Riggin work. I like this because Riggins going to have to work to get off bottom here.
She's up by a score of 7-3. Almost got up. Couldn't get that hand free.
At the end of the cradle here. Yeah, control those hands so she doesn't get cradled up. It looks like the girl's trying to get a far side cradle locked up. She keeps riding Riggins' ankles. Riggin needs to get a hold of that hand and then kind of hip heist out there. But a lot of pressure for her. Riggins' head's on the mat. Now she's trying to, the Broken Bow's trying to run a half here. Kind of rolling around the mat here.
Well, Riggins still trying to look for an opportunity to get out from the bottom if something can happen.
Yeah, and there's a stall call on Riggin. I kind of agree with her. She's got to come to her feet here. Her head was on the mat there. She's got to work to come up. Now she kind of adjusts and she felt the Broken Bow go a little high and just kind of dropped her head and let the girl fall right off over the top there. That's good feel.
Nice reversal in there. Now it's going to be 9-3, under a minute to go in the match.
And Riggin is going to continue with that half series. She's tough with it. Now she's got the wrist in the half. She's going to run it. Good work at her. She's got this. There's the back slopes. This match is over.
Riggin Everett comes back strong in the final period to win by a bull market pin. Thanks to Riggin getting that nice pin, and the Badgers collect another 6 points to go up 12-0. The bull market on East Highway 20 and Valentine bringing you our Badger pins this year.
Yeah, exciting to see that. Now we're going to move up to the 110-pound weight class. Valentine is open at 110, I believe. I'm not sure if Broken Bow has anyone or not.
Riggin had a good match in there, and Valentine again up 12-0. We're going to step aside. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back in 30 seconds. And thanks to Nielsen Insurance, Jason and the crew there Take a look at what we've got coming up. I think
we're giving up a couple of forfeits here. Unfortunately, Bailey Burdick, who usually wrestles 115, and Danica Manson, who usually wrestles 120, were unavailable for tonight. So, give up a couple forfeits there. That was the matchup.
125 pounds, a freshman from Valentine, Allison Weller.
So, Allison Weller coming up. And it looks like maybe we've got somebody coming out here for Broken Bow as well as we get our second match of the night.
This little girl, I like this girl. This is her first year wrestling, but she's kind of feisty. I like her scrap.
Well, she looks pretty athletic too.
Yeah, she is.
She looks like she's been in the weight room some.
She's been out throwing cards or something like that. She's a ranch girl, and that's why I think Valentine is going to be good at this sport of women's wrestling, because we just got some tough girls. Hey. Takedown for Weller right off the bat.
Looked like Broken Bow was going to try a throw, and Weller just strong enough to slip out of that and force her down to the mat. So going up by a score of 3-0, both wrestlers on their feet as they went out of bounds. Nope. Back to the referee's position. That's what I was thinking, was Weller had the takedown on the edge. So
Weller got inside position there and really pressured forward and forced that girl to try and maybe go for a headlock or something. And when she did, then she just countered it. Now we're looking on a crossface series here from the top.
Hooks the leg.
Yeah, she's doing a nice job here. We kind of got it flatten out and then go on the head. Lost the tricep on the crossface. She doesn't care. She's going to go with it anyway.
She's going to either twist the arm off over there to try to get her to turn, but that's using a lot of energy. Now she's trying to get the house.
Yes, and this looks tough here. They keep driving. There's the back place. Now she's got her back.
1 minute left to go here in the first quarter. And another record 10. Thanks to Robert Lacey at the Bull Market on East Highway 20. Stop and get your burger, your salad, your chicken tenders at the Bull Market, bringing you our pins by the Badgers, and that was a nice finish.
Yeah, Allison, that's good for her. Again, a first-year wrestler working on one side, recognized it was open on the other, and jumped sides and hit that half and ended the match.
Now, I noticed that in the early part of the match when they got things started, her stance, she was pretty squared up. A lot of people kind of staggered at it. Did you like the way she had that position?
Well, because when they got to the ties, she got inside. She got inside position. She was lower than her opponent, and she kept going forward and putting the pressure on. There's Samantha Springer getting a forfeit here. Samantha Springer had herself a weekend at Columbus. Beat the number 4 and number 5 ranked kids in the state. Pinned one of them. And the other one was, like a major decision. So, really wrestling well for Samantha Springer. Unfortunately, we don't get a match for it tonight.
But this is just her second or third year wrestling, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But she comes from a wrestling family. Those Springers are tough. I know Hattie's getting a forfeit as well. Unfortunate, Hattie's had a good year as well. She placed up at Rapid, also placed down at Columbus. Hattie's having a good year. This is Hattie's just second year wrestling. And
so the Badgers picking up now. Yes, coming for a long of the number of wrestling climbs.
Yeah.
Started with Grandpa Joe, right?
Yeah, that was an animal. Still is.
So who do we got coming up now? The
Weekly Sergeant there is going to collect the forfeit.
So we'll give another forfeit, and Valentine goes up 36-12.
Well, Peyton Doherty comes out.
Peyton at 145. Looks like we might have a match coming up here. So another Badger match coming up. And this one, with that forfeit interchange there, kind of looks like Valentine won the dual match. But we want to see these individual matches come out.
Yeah, we had a good performance. I tell you, there were some fancy new singlets on too.
I was going to say, are those new?
Yeah, they're new.
They gained enough in numbers. They probably got to keep adding to the arsenal out there. So
look good, feel good, right?
But they still got to have the Badger claws on the back.
Exactly.
They have white ones for the finals.
I'm not sure. I don't think so. Maybe. I do know they got 2 singlets, so they might have some white ones.
They're in the red singlets tonight, anyway.
Yep.
They look sharp out there. Wakely trying to get into position in there. They've done about 30-some seconds and no score yet.
This one's Peyton.
This is Peyton, sorry.
Yep. Peyton's holding good position. There's a slide by attempt. Kind of loses the arm, and now Broken Bow drops for a single. Peyton's defending. Good job there of getting good hip position. She's going to make life rough on the Broken Bow girl here.
Yeah, you'll turn around, maybe turn this into a few points here.
Got to get behind her. That's a takedown for Peyton Doherty. Peyton did wrestle in junior high, so she's got a little bit of experience. Did pretty good despite the coach down there.
You know?
Yeah.
So is she just a freshman then?
She's a freshman, yep.
So Peyton Doherty working now up by a score of 3-0 with 30 seconds left to go, first period. Broken Bow kind of got in on a single leg, but defended well. Peyton was able to come around, turn it into 3. Now working on the top with about 20 seconds. It'd be nice to see if she can get something going and maybe a turn in here.
Yeah, got a last position there. Might give up a reversal here. Gotta keep fighting. I'd rather see her come to her feet and give up one, not the two.
Yeah.
She's trying to come around and hit the leg. I don't know if that's the best option here.
7 seconds left.
Get your feet here. There you go. Smart wrestling. She gets shoved off the mat onto the gym floor. Gosh darn it.
Kind of stumbled at the end there in that melee, and she's up by a score of 3-1, giving up the 1. They blew him out of bounds and stopped the clock with 2 seconds left, I believe.
Yeah, and they're neutral. She's all right. She's getting up. She kind of hit pretty hard on the hard gym floor there.
She did.
Yeah.
You ask them basketball players, and that gym floor is not. Into the first period, Peyton Doherty goes up. She's 3-1 right now. And Valentine says we're going to take both up in here. See if maybe Peyton can get a shot of her own to start things off.
Had a nice little slide by attempt before. Kind of lost the arm. Now digging an underhook and snapping. I like this. Good position. Her head needs to get just a little bit behind. Hard like a front by Broken Bow.
That was a good throw by the Broken Bow wrestler. Peyton got about caught pushing a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Her head was a little bit higher in that tie-up. I was digging the underhook and stuff, but head got a little bit higher. And when that happens, you're susceptible to a headlock.
So Peyton Doherty ends up, freshman, losing by a pin here on this varsity matchup against the Broken Bow Indians to make it 36-18.
She'll learn from that and get better from it, you know. Valley Kenner coming out. Another large girl.
Another long line of wrestling family, too, from down here south of Woodlake.
Yeah, she's going to collect a forfeit here.
Callie picks up 6 more for Valentine in a forfeit. Broken Bow just kind of down on the numbers, not competing. I like to see the fact that, Valentine's one of the teams in the state of Nebraska that has almost a full roster of girls out. A lot of them are going to be 6 or 7 girls, and we're up there. We're now, we're almost ready to put a full field out there.
Yeah, I think we're open at 110. And then the next one is like 190, I believe, is the next weight class that we're open at. When everybody's here. We had a couple opens today because of some minor injuries, but yeah. But I think we're pretty full. So
I think Broken Bow is supposed to send their wrestler out first in this one, which would be up at about 170.
Yeah, right? Should be at 170. Should be seeing Alex Monroe here pretty quick.
And Broken Bow's, I think, debating. I'm not sure what they're maybe not going to send somebody out in this one.
I was hoping to see Alex Monroe. She's a freshman that's showing a lot of promise. I hope she gets a match here.
Well, anytime they can get a match. I mean, that's the point of it as a freshman. We're up 42-18 as a team in this duel. Referee talking to the scorers table in there.
I think this might be talking about who's going to send out first, because I don't think Broken Bow has a 170, but I think they got 2 at 190.
They did have somebody listed at 170.
They did? Okay.
Lopez, I believe, Stacy Lopez. They do have a 190, 2 actually at 190, and they open at heavyweight for Broken Bow. Valentine has Monroe at 170, open at 190, and Addie Sexton at their heavyweight. So
Broken Bow has 2 at 190, correct?
Yes.
One is really good, and I suspect they'll bump her up to heavyweight to wrestle Addie since we don't have anyone to take the forfeit with the other girl.
All right, well, as they sort this out, we'll hear from the KVSH sports team. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
At 170 pounds, a freshman from Valentine, Alex Monroe. Broken Nose open.
Well, Alex Monroe, they called out at 170. She was ready to wrestle. Said, send someone around here. And the referee said, I'm sorry, but Broken Bow is open, so you don't get a match tonight. Yeah, Alex was fired up, ready to go. But we will get a match up here now. We may forfeit at 190 and then go to the heavyweight.
Yeah, I believe Addie Sexton wrestled this girl at the Valentine invite and snapped her and went down and pinned her like 30 seconds. I believe that's the girl. Against this other girl at 190, jumping up to heavyweight. This girl, I think, might have been a state. Coach Nelson was telling me he thought she might have been a state finalist last year. She's the winner there.
And Addie is just a freshman, isn't she?
Just a freshman. She did wrestle last year for the first time. But her season was cut short. She got a little rough there, and she only got a few matches in, so about half the season. So she doesn't have a lot of experience. Broken Bow fakes a low single at heavyweight girls. So
Addie's got a little side, a little height, a little reach on this girl, but maybe giving up a little bit of some experience, it looks like, as a freshman coming in. And this said that Broken Bow was open at heavyweight, so they must have bumped up somebody.
Yeah, they bumped up to 190. This girl, like I said, this girl I think was a state finalist or something like that last year.
Is that Baumgartner or is that
Baumgartner?
Baumgartner?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
And she's pretty salty. So again, in on a double A right there, he's going to finish on Sexton. Sexton is, Addie's a great kid. She's learning. I think she's got a bright future in this sport of wrestling. Another Welsh girl.
And she did the right thing there. She got taken down, got a double leg, but she went to the mat and went right straight to her belly to try to build up and not try to roll somewhere and get caught.
Yep. Now this girl's driving her head down, sinking a deep half in. So this girl's tough. This girl from Broken Bow is a really good wrestler. Addie's a little bit outmatched here, giving up some back points here, but they're still fighting. There's the pin.
So Addie Sexton comes out fighting but loses by a pin to Broken Bow. Baumgartner wins that one, and it's going to make the final score 48-30. Valentine wins the girls' duel 48-30. So Valentine gets some key matches in there in this first duel of the night. Now we got one left to go, and that's the Valentine Badgers and the Broken Bow Indians. It's been a battle for decades, and we're going to talk about that when we come back with more Badger wrestling from Valentine High School in just 60 seconds.
Final for the duel, Badgers 48, Indians 30.
Yeah, if we would have had Bailey and Danica wrestling, that would have been worse.
Ladies and gentlemen, January 11th through the 17th is NSAA Winter Officials Appreciation Week. Every year, these individuals attend workshops, participate in rules
We got to be
meetings,
careful when
and
we're
take
talking
tests
off the air because
preparation
she's
for the
streaming
season.
us, and what
During
we
the
say,
season, dedicated men and women take the time away
and
from
they
their
don't cut
personal
that.
schedules
Just so we don't
provide
say something we're not supposed to.
opportunities to participate in NSAA activities. Please stand, show your appreciation, give a big round of applause for these outstanding officials.
And that is 23 years of
So Valentine gets some matches in there, and Regan Eggert comes out at 105 and wins by a pin over Broken Bow. Allison Well, also a freshman, won by a pin over her Broken Bow opponent. Peyton Doherty lost by a pin to Broken Bow, and Addie Sexton lost by a pin as well. But Valentine had several forfeits, and ends up winning the match by a score of 48-30. So in the matchups, I guess we get 2 pins, they get 2 pins. The actual matches ended up tied up, but some good wrestling there. And as we were saying during the break, you know, if we would have had Bailey Burdick and Danica Jansen out there, I don't know if they would have matched up, but even if matches, they're the odds-on favorite to win because they're that good.
Yeah, we would have been, I think, favored in both those matches. I know Danica would be. Danica's having a great year. Bailey, a freshman, but she's a tough kid. I mean, so, you know, another race girl. There must be something with those girls. A lot of them are ranch kids. Right? Yeah, so they've been wrestling cows, I guess, so it's time for them to wrestle someone else. So, but yeah, I truly think because of the families we have in Valentine, that girls wrestling is going to be a juggernaut at some point.
So how many younger girls are down through the youth program? You're doing junior high, so you're seeing the 7th and 8th graders, I guess. Do they have 6th graders in that?
No, not 7th and 8th. Just 7th and 8th right now, but we've got a couple of girls that have come through club. The Agate girl, I know, spent some time club, and Elise Brown, and we got another Wildrow girl coming, so they've spent some time in club. And then we got some that just started in 7th grade, you know, and they're doing well, you know, so our numbers are growing. Hopefully we can just continue to get more kids into club, get more kids doing sports in junior high. And I try and tell those kids at the junior high level, we want you doing everything. We want you wrestling, we want you playing basketball, we want you playing football, we want you doing track. We just want to keep them as active as possible and be together and learn how to be Badgers, you know, together with your teammates. You don't have to make a choice between sports at the middle school level, so don't make that choice yet.
That's a nice thing about that.
Yeah, go out and be with your teammates, and if you end up, nobody cares. You're gonna end up doing in high school what you're best at and what your really loves at, and there's nothing wrong with that. But get them out for something. Keep them active. we'll see. Right now, Bo, again, they got a full lineup. They put someone out there pretty good. Now, in the duel right before this, Valentine just got by Gothenburg, and Broken Bow just put it on Gothenburg. I mean, it was not a close duel. So, like I said, this is going to be a struggle for Valentine. But I think they can beat them. They just got to come out with form.
So do you think that in the minds of Coach Nelson and the coaching staff, are they thinking about these duels as far as the state duels? We had a little conversation about that during the break between our matches, and so I didn't know if that was something that just kind of falls into place or you plan for it.
Well, to a certain extent, I think more when it gets down to the Chaldron duels and stuff like that. Next week, at the end of next week, if you're sitting in a position where you can make them, then you maybe take them a little bit more serious and try and do your best to win the match. But there's times where you want to do what's best for your kid, not necessarily, and it might cost you a duel. You might bump a kid up to get him a good match against someone who maybe is an underdog against or something like that because you want to get him good competition. Where if the duel was that important to you, you wouldn't do that. So every situation's a little bit different. Right now, I don't think with the Opens that Coach Nelson was really looking at the state duels much, but if it happens, it happens.
Looks like Valentine might end up, according to the introductions here, with a couple of forfeits, but also Broken Bow will end up with probably a couple. They did introduce Jordan Bailey at 175, so we'll see if that holds out. That would be, I think, Jordan's first match of the year.
They ain't going to do that. I really don't think they're going to do that to Jordan. Tough kid right off the bat. I think they read him in. I think they let gamemanship going on right there. I don't think they plan on using him, but who knows? Who knows?
Of course, Ja'Kai Williams at 132 pounds picked up his 100th win against against Gothenburg earlier, starting that second 100, I guess, here tonight. He might not get to the second 100, but he'll end up with maybe 120 wins or something in his career as a Badger, hopefully, and maybe a gold medal from the state championships, which we will be there to cover for you coming up that whole week, basically, that Tuesday. I can't think of what the date is on that. Like the 17th, I think it is, 16th or 17th. Girls State starts, and then it goes Tuesday, Wednesday, girls. Boys again will be Thursday, Friday, Saturday down at Omaha. So we're going to be there bringing you wrestling every day here on KBSH Radio. So a lot of wrestling there. And the 6th and 7th in Ogallala for the girls district will be there. And also boys district at Madison. I've not been to the Madison gym in my career. I know you've been there, so
I have not been there.
Haven't you?
I have not been there. That's funny because the 2012 state title, we were fighting Madison for the title that year, and now the coach at Madison is Trent Austin. It's one of the wrestlers who wrestled on that team to beat Madison. So Trent and Marcus, they're best friends. They go back a long way, same class, good buddies, competing against each other.
Starting off the season.
That's fun. I need to go down there, get a picture of those two. From around.
I think he did that at state last year.
I was going to get DJ Sterling, who's coaching at Burwell. Was actually assistant coach of the year for the Coaches Association last year, so nice award for DJ. He's coming out with Burwell state title team last year.
I think that's kind of an underrated position, We don't hear a lot about assistant coach of the year. I think Jason Kerber got that year or two here.
Jason got it, and Jason Rogers got it 1 year as well with him, so those two both got it together. And Kerber got it for the National Wrestling Coaches Association 1 year as well. So, those two were tremendous to our program. They helped out a lot. They were a big part of our success through the years.
So we have our first match in here for the Valentine Badgers giving up a 3-point takedown.
Cole Bowles, freshman out there battling. And he was injured the first part of the season, so he's seeing some of his first action. He's got a few matches under his belt. But this might be his first varsity action right here. Rather than getting his hand raised in that last duel. Broken Bow kid's trying to run a half. Bowles is doing a nice job of fighting this off. And kid's going back and forth with half on one side, half on the other. He may have it this time.
A pretty soppy guy to start off with here.
There's the pin. Cole Bowles goes down. by pain, first match of the year. The fight was there. That's all we can ask for. As a coach, he went out there and he battled. That's all we can ask for. Maybe a little bit outmatched in that opening bout.
So as we get to the next one coming up, that was Bays, who ends up getting pinned in that first match, and we'll move on through our list in here.
That was at 150, and Valentine is open at 150, so we are going to start this duel off down 12-0.
Not the way we wanted to against the top 10 ranked team, but we've got some pretty big guns that are going to be coming up here as well.
Yeah, and we got Burdick coming back out at 157 pounds, and I believe, I'm just going to see, Rick Moore's got two guys sitting over there. It's going to be interesting to see which one they send out.
Trying to find on Track Wrestling where they got these listed. I can see the results of the Gothenburg match, but I don't see the Valentine Broken Bow match listed on here yet.
So Trevor Burdick is coming out to wrestle here, and Broken Bow is bumping up Rynierson to wrestle him. Now, Rynierson, two-time state medalist, I believe was third at state one year. Really good kid, but in the past, Burdick has had his number. Burdick has had a huge upset over him a couple of years ago when he was a freshman. He was at this duel, actually. So, but again, Burdick's second match of the year. He hasn't wrestled much this year. Did not look himself in that first duel. Hopefully he's feeling a little bit better right now. He's able to renew this little rivalry here.
Well, hopefully he gets his air and ready to go for the second match.
Yeah, there's a nice job by Rynierson. Really well sprawled out by Burdick. And then Rynierson tries to go to Fireman's. Burdick does a nice job of down blocking it. They're both, Burdick at the front headlock, they're both fighting in that position. Nice snap by Burdick. Now, trying to sucker drive was Rynierson, but Burdick holds on. Stalemate. So I thought that was a win for Burdick right there. I think that's going to help his confidence. He got a little fling there, and he was able to hold his own weight. So,
and it was kind of an instinct move in there too. I mean, he knows what he's doing, so it's coming back to him each time he's on the mat.
Yeah. And he's going to have some rust coming out there. I mean, that's to be expected. Giving up a Russian 2-on-1 tie here. Gothenburg was doing that and then trying to hit the carry. Okay. Fights out of that, gets the underhook.
Under a minute to go, no score yet, and nobody's got a good offense going right now in this early match.
Rynierson fires off a single leg, the Wizard by Burdick. He's still fighting it off. They go to the mat. He's got a shin wizard here. He's going to give up this takedown here and go down 3-0.
So Burdick has to belly out on there, get his palms up. It's on his elbows. 30 seconds left to go. And now just got to try, don't get turned in here in these final 30 seconds, because I think Burdick can come back, get his own takedown, and erase those 3 points.
Yep, and Rynierson's doing a blanket line. He's got an ankle hook there, got a keyhole out of that, and we want to try to score points here at the end of the period. 12 This guy's sitting on his butt. Burdick's got him in a little bit of danger right here. Oh, now he kind of gives it up, and Rynierson goes power half. And he's going to give up a couple of swipes right at the end of the mat, right at the end of the period here. So two more near fall, 5-0.
So we come back to the second period, and Burdick's going to be down by 5. Comes back into the center. I like to see him jump right back up there, ready to go. Pretty solid kid that he's wrestling against from O'Neill as well. Pretty defined.
Yeah, this Rynierson, he's a good wrestler. Burdick fires in a shot as well. And they still have had some classic battles in the past. But again, this is Burdick's first time, and he gets caught in a cradle right here. This could be trouble. Gives up the takedown. Now he's fighting not to go to his back. And we call that a stud cradle. Bo puts it up, and I tell you, it's really tough to get out of this once they get this locked up. But he kind of walks the other side. He's fighting it. This is going to be tough. This is tough, and there's a minute left in the period, a minute and a half, so he's able to get out of it. So that's a good fight by Burdick.
Yeah, good fight, good energy in there, but he's down 12-0 now. He's got to be careful. He's got to get some points on his own. And a minute 10 to go, second period. as you mentioned earlier, that Broken Bow pretty well manhandled things with Gothenburg in that duel they had.
Yep, Nelson's going through a half here, and he drives it hard, and he's going to get the pin. This pin here, again, this is not the version of Trevor Bowles that we're going to see in a month from now at the state tournament.
No, Trevor's got some ways to make it back and get the rest out. Bust the cobs out there and get things fine-tuned, but having been out since, he wasn't out for football or anything, just basically doing some bicycle and some running to try to stay in some kind of shape. Now we get to see Parker Chavez for the Valentine Badgers. First time tonight, he came out and got a bye against Gothenburg. Chavez wrestling very well again this year.
Yeah, he's doing well. I tell you what, bracket he was in Columbus was absolutely loaded. He lost the number 1 kid in the state for the second time from Boone Central. And then I believe he lost to the Columbus or Lincoln East. So a Class A kid for 3rd and 4th. So this is a solid-looking kid from Broken Bow. He's pretty muscled up here.
I like to see the step forward by Chavez right off the whistle, and a couple of back steps there by the Broken Bow kid, showing that he respects what Chavez is going to come after him tonight.
Yeah, this is a Markham, and this is a pretty good kid. He's probably ranked in the state, but probably 7, 8, somewhere around in there. Chavez is right around that 3, 4 area.
All these Broken Bow wrestlers have looked like they've been in the weight room.
Yeah, they know where it's at anyway. They look solid. There's a nice shot by Chavez, going to pick up the takedown.
Not sure where he's seen the opening on that, but he made the opening, I guess, and took the double leg in for a 3-0 start. 1:10 to go first period.
Well, he looked like he was shooting to the single leg, but then he dropped that hand down and picked up the double as well, and got thrown down at the ankle and caught the Broken Bow kid off balance and was able to put him right to his back.
I think Chavez was coming off of a rodeo injury in the summer too, where he cracked a wrist or broke a wrist or something in some bull riding, and so maybe that was early spring that he was out for a little bit with that.
Yeah, he was out, but I think the kid's sitting like number 1 or 2 in the state in the bull riding, so pretty good bull rider as well. That's an all-around athlete, great football player as well.
Yeah, well, I know we had him for our Farm Bureau Insurance Player of the Game several times in football where he dominated things, even when the Badgers became a little short-handed. Kind of on the edge of the mat behind the score clock, so it's a little tough to kind of see what they're doing. Describing too much action, all we can look at is the score is still 3-0, 15 seconds left to go first period.
Chavez does have an arm on the back here, so but Broken Bow's not doing much either. He's just trying to stay off his back in this situation.
Parker being physical in here, as he always is.
Yeah.
But showing him that, come on, let's do something here, guy, because the guy on the bottom, what'd you say his name was?
Malcolm, and he was not wanting to do a whole lot. No. Ref was kind of giving him some cues there that he needs to get going. I imagine he's probably pretty close to a stall call if he doesn't get busy.
Parker on the bottom in the referee's position, starting period number 2.
3-0 lead by Parker. Then he goes to a short set. Works to get to his feet. Big left and return by Malcolm. That was a nice return by the Broken Bow kid. And he's got Parker flattened out here, but I don't think he's in any trouble getting turned or anything, but just doing a nice job of riding right now. He should have to come to the side, though, so he was close to a warning on bottom earlier, and he hasn't come off of Parker's hip yet.
So he did return Parker when Parker got to his feet. Now let's see if Parker gets up again. He does.
He's got to stay low so he doesn't get lifted again. He gets lifted again, put back down. Yeah, and that makes that kid look like he's doing something. He's on top right here. He's not really doing a whole lot. He's riding pretty parallel. He does have a wrist kind of trapped. But he's not doing a lot. So Parker's got to make him look bad. Got to work to his base. There he gets, Parker gets to his base. Middle under his power, that kid hasn't come off that hip yet, so.
Yeah. He's returned him twice, and that's been basically it.
Yeah. It's not my place to yell at the ref right now, though, so.
Well, we're up by a score of 3-0, but Parker will leave the wrestling up to him.
Yeah.
And I think he'll take care of business there. Getting close to going out of bounds if Parker picks up his hand. Now his toes back in the line.
Right, nice. Got that and released and just kind of sat through and his hips were running back to his feet right on the edge of the mat there.
Nice job there. With 30 seconds to go, a little bit of blood, it looks like, from Parker on the nose, and so they'll take a blood timeout.
Sacrificed the blood and arrows to get the escape.
They might both have blood on the nose. They were getting kind of physical. Well, Parker did a good job getting things turned there, and Malcolm was right on the edge, knew where he was at. He was able to give up the one. Otherwise, Parker looked like he was going to turn that one into a reversal.
Yeah, if they would have been closer to the center of the mat, I think he would have got the reversal. But I'm glad he got the escape. He was getting ridden pretty hard there. Got the escape. Now a takedown here. And we're looking at bonus point material, possibly a major decision going into the third period. So the nice to get a takedown here is only 35 seconds left or so.
Parker looking to change things as the Valentine Badgers are down 18-0 in the team points. Looking for the first Badger win.
Well, it kind of dives in on a shot. It kind of gives out a little drive from Malcolm. Malcolm does a nice job of scoring up there.
17 seconds left.
Good scramble there. Parker needs to abandon this right here because that guy's going to try and throw it. And he drops back in.
Down to 6 seconds left to go here. Second period. Parker shot left side score 4-0 into the second period. So, yeah, it really, Malcolm really didn't do much on the offensive side in there until that very last little flurry that he put out. Otherwise, just returning him early in the second period to the mat.
Yeah, I would like to have a stall call on him there going into his third period. I think it might be warranted. Parker's been doing the majority of the work here. This kid's holding position, though. He is holding position, I'll give him that. Has a couple nice mat returns, but
the pressure's on him because he's
a shot. They took a shot. Okay.
Now we'll see if Parker can fend this off.
Parker's got this. This is coming. There's a takeoff for Parker. Let's get the pin on here. This would be huge if he gets the pin. Going to adjust. Plenty of time. Going to lift this.
Still adjusting in there.
It's getting close. It's getting close.
Parker Chavez Williams got a pin here. A Blue Market pin for you on KVSH Radio. As Parker Chavez comes out, battles up 7-0, and finishes it off with a pin here halfway through the second, or is that third period? Third period. 5 minutes into the match, and Parker Chavez finishes things off over a really good opponent from Broken Bow in that one.
Yeah, solid kid. Kid didn't have a whole lot of offense, but was good defensively and scrambled really well. Parker just found a way to get the pin there. That was awesome.
Now we come up to the decision. Jordan Bailey is not going to wrestle, as you said. Marcus says, no, we're not going to. They marched him out there to the parade of introductions, but
At 175 pounds for Broken Bow.
Yeah, I think that's a good choice.
Age, Valentine.
is that the Jason Feather that just came in front of us here? We should get him up on the air.
I guess I didn't see. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Sit right down in front of us. We give him a bad time on the air.
Yeah.
Since he's not coaching anymore. Is he helping with any of the youth?
Well, I think he's helping with the youth. I could throw something at him here and maybe
Get his attention. And that's why you're a wrestler, a basketball player.
Next up at 190 pounds for the Badgers, Weston Whitty.
So Weston Whitty is got a second match coming up here for the young man. Cody Wells, that's a name been around the Broken Bow.
Yeah, he's a tough kid. This Wells he's a tough kid. All these Wells have come through. They've had some state champions come through with that name. And this is a brother of him. So, you know the kid's got some experience. He's well put together. He's up a couple of weight classes from a year ago and looks good. Looks like he fills the weight class out. That was a nice shot by Wells for a low single. And goes right in for a half Nelson. He's got Whitty in trouble already. This one might end quickly.
I think Weston just didn't expect this quick. Wells, a very experienced wrestler, came in and put him on his back and just kind of a flurry of activity. And Weston didn't have much of a chance to even respond to that.
Well, and, you know, he's outmatched in that, but, you know, what can you do? You go out and you give your best effort and just fell short today. they'll come back next time and wrestle tougher.
Yep, Broken Bow ends up with the win there, 24-6 in the team standings. The only win was that pin by Parker, 30-6 rather. After that, 6 goes up on the board. James Monroe coming up in here at 2:15, but then still don't go away because we got Braden Steck, another exciting match we expect from them. Declan Titus might have a match coming up tonight. 120 then Parker Wackler, Ronan Eggert at 126. We'll finish things up, I believe, with Jakai Williams and Gage Sandoz coming out here yet tonight. So,
yeah, we've got some tough kids coming back. So this duel is far from over. 36-6 now it says. So, far from over, but we're going to get to work here if we have a chance of winning this duel.
Need a little upset. Need to build a little momentum in here for Weston.
Well, they got a big heavyweight, so yeah, it's 30-6, that's right. But they're going to get a 4-foot at heavyweight, so they're basically 30 points ahead right now.
So, got a few guys to try to change that scoring in there. Don't forget the Badger basketball teams are hosting games with Hershey Friday and Ogallala Saturday. Ogallala got some of the top boys and girls basketball teams, so those games start about 3 o'clock. Be on up here Saturday.
Yeah, that's going to be an exciting one. Valentine boys are pretty darn tough this year.
Well, the
girls are pretty tough too.
Yeah, they're both doing well.
Yeah, so come out to watch that one. That's going to be some good matchups there.
A little full of activity there, but no points scored, as both wrestlers still trying to sense where they're at in this match.
Yep, both hand fighting here, trying to get position. Again, I'm impressed with James Monroe. When he said he's going to wrestle, I was like, okay, good. Now he's stepped up and stepped into the varsity ranks here, and he's out there battling. He's kind of learning some positionings here. There's no quit on him whatsoever, so I'm impressed with James.
So we also need to be thinking about our Mad Dog Wrestler of the match tonight by the Burdick Ranches, Byron Burdick and the crew. Of course, we've got a big one in 100th win for Jakai Williams, but James Monroe is going to get taken down in here with 24 seconds to go in the period. And the wrestler from Broken Bow lost his headgear in there.
Wrestling is a sport that very few people can just pick up and start doing and be successful at. It's something that, not that you don't see it. Greg Davis years ago come out, in his second year he won a state title. But Greg Davis is also a phenomenal athlete. It usually takes a few years to kind of develop some of the positioning and stuff and the feel that's necessary to be successful at this sport. So,
the wrestling has changed over the years, where the guys you're going against that are top in the state, are wrestling 100+ matches a year.
Yeah, and they're going all over the place. And I always said that we were at a little disadvantage here in Valentine because we couldn't hit a lot of those off-season tournaments than other people do, just because we're so isolated. I mean, we could hit them, but it was a lot tougher for our kids to make some of those big tournaments than it is to someone in Omaha who's going to one every weekend, and not traveling over 100 miles.
Into the first period here, and 2:15, James Monroe down 3-0. He's going to start on top in the referee's position here.
I like the way James has battled today. Didn't give up the pin in the first match. Wrestled into it just a regular decision. Now he's battling here. Gives up the escape, so it's 4-0 right now. And this Broken Bow kid's got good motion. He's got good fakes, kind of level changing, working the head. Kind of stuff that I'd like to see James do a little bit more of. James is doing a good job of grabbing wrists and controlling some ties.
One thing that's important is in the wrestling room when you're practicing is, being able to have somebody in your weight class or close to it, to spar with. So
it makes a big difference, and James has the Woody, who's one more class below him. Then you got two inexperienced kids going at it. Sometimes it's good to have one of those kids that is just kind of a hammer right around your weight class, because it forces you to have to be a hammer just to stick with them. Well, I see a lot of times you get to the state tournament, you'll see teams where they'll have two guys in the state finals, but they're back-to-back.
Right, well, and we've seen that. You've seen that over the years. You get guys like Parker Chavez and then somebody right along like Jordan Bailey or Burdick that is a good sparring partner with him. makes them better during the year, and so you kind of do stack up the best of the best, I guess it seems like in certain weight classes.
Iron sharpens iron. Yep. All right, 7-0 score in this match.
30 seconds left to go here in the period. James battling out there, but having a tough time trying to get anything done, and this broken bow wrestler really hasn't got off the hips, really.
No, he hasn't, but James has got to work to build his base a little bit. Somebody's going to get called here. It's going to be green. That is broken bow.
Yeah.
Because he is parallel. I agree with that call.
Yeah, and it's, with 21 seconds left to go in the second period, I believe. So, it's not like get that stalling call, maybe pay off later on. Let's see if James, be nice to see him get up to his feet and get that hand loose and get one at least.
Okay. So here's the deal with this new scoring. James gets to escape here. They're down 7-1, and this is only one move away from taking the lead. So you can get a 3-point takedown before an fall off some sort of throw or something like that, take someone from their feet to their back, so you can rack up a lot of points in a hurry. Can also get away from you in a hurry.
Yep. Time out of the second period, and it's going to be 7-0 going to the third. Broken bow's choice. They're going to both take up, or he's going to choose up. Marcus Nelson giving a few pointers in here to James. See if he's got some gas in period 3. Second match of the night here for James.
Looks a little winded, but he's still battling. Looks like he's just kind of searching for his takedown. What he needs, he's searching for what is going to work for him. He's got to get the go-to takedown, something that he can hit on about anyone.
So at what point in this final period then do you just say, okay, I got to go do something? You can't wait any longer. You got to make something happen.
No. No. Okay. No. Because if you only get a takedown, he's going to give up the takedown here. He's going to fight this after. This kid's running the half and running the top, but James doesn't have a bit of quit in him. I don't like waiting until the final seconds to try and do something and try and go big. I like scoring points now. You didn't have to go out and try and throw right yet and try and take him to his back, but leg attacks, get on the offense, score some points.
1 minute left to go, and James Monroe down 10-0.
Now he got pinned to his back. And a half. I think James thought he was safe. He was close to that out of bounds line, but there's the pin.
So James Monroe unfortunately loses by a pin here in this 2:15 match. Valentine is open at heavyweight, so we get to drop down to 105. 106 rather, and Braden Steck. We saw him with his match here just earlier. He came back last week in the Columbus Invitational.
That's a big boy heavyweight for Broken Bow.
He's a large individual, I can tell you that, and he's not overly round. He's about 6'5", and I think probably weighs all of 275.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
36-9. The Badgers
now 40. No, I think we give points to the wrong team. I think it's 42-6 is what the score is right now.
106 pounds. Teams are open.
Yeah, because we're going to get 6 more, so 42-6. So Badgers struggling individuals against Broken Bow here.
But none of our big guns have gone yet, except for Parker Chavez. Well, Bonick went, but he had a tough match. His first one's out. But we got some hammers coming up here.
Well, I think Marcus stopped. They skipped over to Declan Titus up at 113 instead of 106, and so Marcus had to go over to the score sheet.
106 pounds.
There we go.
Braden Steck.
I want to see Braden get back out there again.
Here he comes.
Fires out of his shoe.
I think the nickname for him, the spark plug. A 4'2".
No, not going to wrestle him.
No, I got to wrestle him. We've seen what he did to Gothenburg. They won no piece of that guy.
Well, he tech-called the Gothenburg wrestler in there. Very, for a freshman, the technique that he used, and I feel that kid by the time in the next, so he's a junior or senior, when he's running 113.
I think he's kind of surprised. I think he's going to have a growth spurt at some point. I can say his junior or senior, him being 138 or so.
Declan Titus, is that where we got coming out?
Well, we got Jason Manawa.
Okay.
Jason Manawa coming out at 113 pounds. Jason Manawa did not wrestle last year. He's a sophomore. Very inexperienced, wrestled in junior high a little bit. Doesn't have a lot of experience, but he's going to go out there. He's going to go out there and fight.
And the opponent for him is, well, they said they were open at 113. They must have bumped up.
This is their
Longfellow.
Yeah, this is their 6-pounder.
A freshman, Zach Longfellow.
And he's going to work Manawa into his back here.
Looked like Manawa was coming in on him and got caught.
Well, left him elbow high. Like I said, not a lot of experience for Manawa. He's going to fight though. He's going to battle.
Trying to use the legs and gets that leg caught on his back. And a lot of time, minute 23 to go in this first.
Still fighting off his back here.
Well, don't count him out in this one here.
He's not going to quit fighting. He's not easy to pull. He's going to fight and get off his back. Now he's going to look out for the corner here. And he gets split up. Down 7-0, and the guy, Breaking Blue Kid's got a quarter wrapped up on him. He's going to try and run through. Oh!
Manawa still trying to get out of those cradles. Rolled through a couple of times, but hasn't broken the cradle.
I think he's good. I think he's good. He's got to try this up top. That was awesome for him. I'm so happy for him. Congratulate Justin. That was awesome. Everybody's playing around. Gave him high fives. He's still jumping around.
Well, that was a big, big move in there because he's down 7-0 on his back in a corner and manages, I don't know how, to get out of that and turn that around and get the pin for the Dodgers.
You are never out of a match. You can always turn the tables and get the pin.
32-18 after that excitement. And we go to our next weight class, which would be 120. I believe Parker Wackler again.
Nope, the Dawson Declan Titus out.
Oh, they bumped him up.
Yep, they put Manawa in at 13, Titus in at 20.
Well, it's good to get Declan. He got a forfeit in that last one, so it would be good to see him out here.
Yeah.
Good action tonight.
Declan's been wrestling pretty well, too. Again, placed at the Columbus tournament. He's wrestling pretty tough. He's ranked in the state. I don't know what. I don't have my account anymore to see that it's on a paid subscription now. So,
well, we were, a couple of years ago we were talking, is Declan going to make it up to 106?
Yeah.
And now here he is wrestling 113 solid up to 120 tonight.
Yeah, it's and he's tough. He's doing well. He's kind of turning into the man I thought he was going to be when he was an 8th grader. He was a freshman. He just wasn't big enough really. He was tiny. Last year he started kind of catching, getting some wins and doing well. And this year he's been kind of on a tear.
What was his schedule like over the summer and the off season?
No, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he went to camp with Coach Dawson. I know he was doing some rodeoing. He's working some calves and stuff, so I know he does that. And I think it's important to get away from the sport every now and then, but you still got to train. You still got to try and improve, find ways to get to the mound. I know Coach Dawson had some open mats and stuff that he was at, so.
Still no score yet with 38 seconds left to go first period. Declan takes a shot.
Oh, yeah.
Out of bounds. It looked pretty good, but out of bounds.
Yeah, but most likely that wasn't in the middle of the mat. He might have been fighting off his back still.
So So back to the center of the mat with just a few seconds.
Shot by Broken Bow. Running deep, and his head's kind of between the legs there. Declan's got to push on the hips here, try and get those legs. It'd be nice to get a score here. I don't think Broken Bow's got a chance of scoring this, but Declan does.
10 seconds left. Declan
Declan around for the take Declan up 3-0.
Exactly like coaches have said, you know, score at the end of the period. He goes up 3-0 as time expires here in period number 1. So Declan has the advantage. Going to defer on this one, and Broken Bow says we're going to go both wrestlers up. I'm not sure that's a wise choice for him, but not my choice to make. Because Declan gets in on a single right quick like.
He does. He's fighting for a good defense by Broken Bow here. He's going to go for a headlock, and he gets it. Yes, this trouble. Declan's on his back. That's the only time I like to see a headlock thrown is if you got the guy on his knees, and he caught Declan with it.
So down to a minute 37 to go, and Declan trying to fight off of his back. Looks like he's going to get to his belly, but he's going to give up some back points. So tied up 3-3 right now, but 4 back points to be awarded to Broken Bow.
It's not going to win until this go right here. Now it's 7-3. No problem. So we're escaping a takedown. This match is tied back up.
So Declan now is going to have to work up off the bottom. We'll see if the Broken Bow wrestler, in the past we haven't seen a lot of movement there. He does get off to the side.
So looking for a head lever. That can be tough on the shoulders. Now Declan's kind of getting a little bit better position, sliding.
Trying to get a base underneath him.
A little sense of urgency here on getting out. I need to keep sliding it. Now he's kind of coming under that leg. Declan's kind of in trouble here. This is trouble for Broken Bow. Declan's got it.
No award for points, but it could be a reversal.
It could be a reversal to his back here pretty soon.
Now it looks like
He's pretty strong. Never come back to his belly.
So Declan pulls back within 2. It's 5-7. 20 seconds to go. Let's see if he can get off to the side and turn this Broken Bow wrestler. Hard crossface with the left arm that time by Declan. 10 seconds left to go.
He's on the end of power half.
Broken Bow wrestler looking pretty gassed on the bottom. Declan's sitting on him and saying, come on, let's wrestle.
This Broken Bow kid's going to try and hold on for the win here.
I don't think he's going to do it.
He's going to try and start us out. I think the referee, Tony Denke, he's not going to allow someone just to start out. Ooh, that's interesting. Coach Nelson has Declan go top.
So we'll see if Declan can get him turned in here. Why is that interesting?
Well, Brooklyn, because top's usually the hardest place to score points. It's usually coming off the bottom. That should be an automatic point. Sometimes it's easier to get takedowns. Declan is pretty tough on top. This kid did not want to go down against him in the second period, so maybe this kid just struggles on bottom, and Coach Nelson knows that. He's got the kid scouted. I do not, so...
Well, I thought Broken Bow looked pretty tired on the bottom, so maybe he thinks that he's gassed out and Declan will be able to turn him, get a pin. Valentine's down 42-18 in the duel.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's thinking about winning the duel right now. I think they're worried about winning this match and just...
As we start this final period, Declan down by 2 points. He's going to be real physical here, it looks like.
Yeah, he's got both legs there. He's trying to work power half. Broken Bow's not really doing much. He's does build to his base there.
And the official got down there and told him he had to move.
Back to his belly, back to his base, not really doing much. I don't know if you got to call this here pretty quick. There's his first star call. That's not going to be enough though. You can't rely on star calls to win the match. He's got to get a turn here.
Well, and we're still down 2 points with a minute 11 to go. Broken Bow showing some movement, but not really wrestling off the bottom. The referee is telling him, Declan at 1 minute mark, down by 2. He's got to get a turn in here.
Well, this kid's going to try and star out here and get this win. And I don't... There's another star call, so that gives the match
47 seconds left. So will they get another one before?
They might.
Definitely trying to lock up the cradle, but Broken Bow just not doing anything other than coming up to his knees and his elbows. Declan with going to try to turn him, see if he can get both left turning. There's Stewart, 22 seconds left, down by 11. This guy, took the legs out. Let the stalker. He's going to try to kill him. He's got 10 seconds to get it done. There's the stalker. That's going to be I think the coaches think and said, don't cut him loose right now because you're tied up. So we're going to an overtime. Both wrestlers on their feet, and I think Broken Bow blasted and now to take a shot and kind of a duck move. That's a takedown. He's going to score this. Shining match there for Declan. We waited on that one. He didn't get a match. And he wins 10-7. I tell you what, for a duel that's kind of not in question anymore. The last two matches have been pretty exciting. Well, you know, I think what you're looking at, in my opinion anyway, is these are teams that are going to see each other again. And you're looking at those matchups to try to set things up down the road for the next 4 weeks or whatever. Yeah, so, you know, you're looking at that's a big win right there for Upland titles, even though he probably won't be wrestling at weight class. But remember, he was wrestling up at 120. Wow. So we've got 3 matches remaining, down by 21. So even if we got 3 points, you're not going to win this duel. But I like our chances of these next 3 matches. We got some hammers here. Ronan Eggert. I'm not sure who this Broken Bow kid is. We've got a Colton Eulig and a Kelston Lindner, who's a sophomore. And I would think this looks more like a senior wrestler. So it might be Eulig. This is Lindner. So I'm wrong. All right. This is a good-looking kid, though. Oh, wow. Dad's a rodeo contestant, I believe. So Ronan comes out. They go out of bounds. No score. 24 seconds gone in this first period. Ronan, a strategist here. And the silver singlets for the boys' varsity matchups tonight in this duel. I like the motion from the Broken Bow kid. He's staying low. He's getting some fakes in there. Ronan's just going to slow him down a little bit, get a hold of him, control ties, a couple of different styles maybe. Ronan looking for an opening with 1:06 to go. Controlling the wrists. Let's see Ronan did get that underhook. Bang the head, get the underhook in again. That's where he did a very nice job of that in the last match. Of course, this kid's probably a little bit better kid than the last kid too. So right now they're just kind of hand fighting, looking for openings. No score yet. 44 seconds to go first period. Forehead to forehead in here. Right in the middle of the mat too. Nobody's trying to get away from the other guy here, so Lindner tries to take a kind of a wild shot in there, and stepping back, Ronan stays away from that. Kid's stepping pretty hard and getting low. I don't know if Ronan knows a head and heel, but if you hit that head and hit the heel at the same time, there you can put the guy right down. 13 seconds left. So Coach Carver's yelling from the top of the stands here to drag, and I agree. It'd be a good thing to do. Well, we're getting right out of time. So no score in the first period. All right, looks like it's Broken Bow's choice. They're going to defer. Valentine is going to go neutral. Okay. Let's see if we can get a takedown here off our feet. Neither guy was able to get much offense generated in that first period, so. Well, but now they know a lot more about their opponent. Yep. Good shot by Broken Bow there. Good defense by Eggert. Eggert comes back up, well defended. Good attempt.
from Broken Bow. Bow's got a right-handed underhook.
Like to see Ronan get into position to take a shot of his own. We haven't seen too much out of that. He's fended off a couple of Linder shots.
And Linder's doing a nice job of moving and poking and stuff like that. And I think maybe he's getting, there's a shot by the way. Good single line. He's going to score this. Nice shot.
He's waiting for his right moment in there, and he goes up by a 3-0 margin, minute 20 to go. So now he's going to cut him.
Yep. Put him over to his feet, and Ronan just said, go ahead. I'll let you go and take you down again.
See if you can go back to that same move in there, or if Lindner learned anything off that one. And officials timeout.
Got the fingers interlocking there. He's kind of warned them not to do that.
And back to the referee, back to the middle. Both wrestlers up.
You see that finger interlocking a lot at the international level, senior level. You don't see it quite as much at the high school level, but you see a lot when you get up to that level. Now another single-leg attempt. That one was measured by Broken Bow. He's trying to get a front headlock situation.
40 seconds left, second period.
Ronan's got the elbow, doing a nice job of staying in good position here. Go out of bounds.
Little throw right there out of bounds.
Let's get your wrestling head. I like what's going on here.
Very evenly matched in here. Might get a chance to see these guys down the road. 20 seconds left to go. Be nice to see maybe Ronan get a shot in here in the final seconds and score at the end of this period, but those takedowns, Ronan's got the only one thus far, so
I would assume that Broken Bow will go down in the third period. He got the escape. There was a nice fake by Ronan. Really got Linder up there. Kind of got him off balance.
So Ronan's going to lead this one 3-1.
Ronan's taking top. Broken Bow is taking top. Also, Ronan wants to have something scouted against Ronan. And maybe that kid's really good on top, or maybe they don't think Ronan's very good on bottom.
We're going to find out in about the next 2 minutes here.
Yeah. We'll probably be able to tell within the first 5 seconds of it if it was a good decision or not. If Ronan exposed to his feet here, should be able to clear out.
Ronan's really quick. Let's get up.
Let's go up. Nice return. Now Ronan's going to come right back up. Right back up. Don't wait for it.
Up on a tripod, but he's getting an arm chop. Now back to his feet.
Nice job. I don't know some defense going. Ronan's got the leg. Almost looks like he's in a shot. He's going to get his head up high right here. Ronan's going to rush that figure forward. Linder is holding on to that ankle. It's the only thing saving this from down the reversal. I think this is around the wrist, or he calls a stalemate. Wow.
I was worried about that they call stalemate. Ronan was still working, trying to get his head out there. If he would have popped his head out,
He was in good shape there.
So back on the bottom, maybe we get an explosion here with 1:25 to go.
I sure would like to have to give Ronan about another 10-15 seconds on that. Nice return again by the Broken Bow kid. Ronan's getting to his feet, and that kid's dropping to a high cross situation, just lifting Ronan and putting him right back to the mat. It's a really nice mat return by the Broken Bow.
Ronan's still leading at 3-1 with 1:05 to go.
Ronan's got to find a way to get hand control when he gets to his feet. He's got to get a hold of it. Got to get a hand. Now, Broken Bow's got a deep half in here. Ronan's going to fight this off here. Now, we got a illegal move here. Yep.
No, 1 point for Ronan, it looks like, on this, so he's going to go up 4-1. Not sure that 3-point margin is going to make a huge difference right now, but it could.
Well, if he gets the escape, then he gave up a takedown, he's still got that run. So, he's got to get a hold of the hand here. He's getting to his feet, but he's got to get a hold of the hand. Now he's got these spots, he's got the leg, having a switch situation. And this is where the ball scored before, so
45 seconds.
Broken Bow's trying to tell, but Ronan's got that ankle, he's getting lifting that elbow net, trying to get that kid on his hip and in a bad situation. This is kind of, I don't think this is ending up in a stalemate situation here.
25 seconds.
He's got Ronan for stalling in this situation.
Rowan trying to come out the back now.
Rowan is a little high.
Rowan might be able to come out and get a couple more with 10 seconds left to go. Up by 4-1. 6 seconds to go.
Well, this match is going to be running at it, but not a lot of battle. Good match. 4-1.
So Roman Egger pulls out the win for the Valentine Badgers in a decision here, 4-1. And we should be getting Ja'Kai Williams out at 132 in our next match. And Valentine down in the duel, 42-24 to a solid, tough Broken Bow squad. But we've had some battles in these last couple of matches now.
Yeah, and they actually had Valentine ranked high as a dual team. I didn't quite understand that one with their open weight classes and stuff, but they were full up in the match with full top and everybody hit on all cylinders, but we're just not that there right now. They're better than Valentine ranked as high as third as a dual team, so
looks like Ja'Kai's going to get a forfeit here at 132.
Shoot.
His 101st win comes as a forfeit.
That's unfortunate. Now,
so
this is a better situation for Gage Sandos, though. Cash Watson is a regular 138-pounder, and that kid is double tough. Yeah, he's fighting some injuries right now, so they are going to sit him, and I'm not sure who this kid they're sitting out is, but this is not Cash Watson.
There are 3 of them listed here. Braxton Eggleston and Delray Woodward.
This is... I'll tell you here in a second here, as soon as they get it. This kid's, I guarantee you, he's not as good as Cash Watson, so.
And they're holding things up, making sure the computer was ready to go on.
This is Emmett Palmer.
Well, he's not even listed. He's not, he's a 132-pounder.
132, okay, look, they bumped up, okay? So this was a 132, they bumped him up, they didn't want him wrestling Ja'Kai, so they said, we'll take our chances against the freshman Sandos. Sandos does a nice job of measuring the first shot, defended it well. He's got 90 hook, goes knee pop, takedown. Oh, nice technique by Gage Sandos. 90 hook, knee pick.
Gage won by a pin over his Gothenburg opponent, so.
Kind of behind the sign here, behind the scoreboard. I can't really see what's going on. Gage is on top. Good chop there, maybe.
1:15 left to go here in the opening period. After that first takedown, Gage Sandos has been on top.
Yep. A little unsure of what we're going for here. Not a freshman, again, still figuring things out, but he's got a tough ride. He's got good forward pressure on him. He's on his toes. He's off his knees. That kid's trying to bring him down. Doesn't work. Sandos kind of, again, a lot of forward pressure here. He's staying behind the elbow, staying in good position. He's doing the right things.
So Sandos on the edge of the mat right now, leading at 3-0, 37 seconds to go. Hasn't been a lot of action since that initial takedown.
Looking to maybe dig the wrist out here. He's got wrist control on one side. He's, again, good forward pressure. He's not sitting on his knees. Gage is working hard on top. He's kind of got the arm trap between the legs here, a ball and chain type situation. And
just 5 seconds left.
Yeah. Good side ride by the freshman, Sandos.
Yep.
After the takedown.
Gives up a little height to Palmer of Broken Bow as a freshman, but looks like a little more mass on Gage Sandos, and he decides he's going to take both wrestlers up. Try to go for that takedown again.
That's how he riding him. He wasn't getting anything done on top. He wants to score points, so I like that. I like that decision there. That was a good first shot was there. He just didn't. He was faking it, so he decided to shoot for it right. It was wide open there. Little elbow pass, pushing him out. Good offense. Good aggression by Sandos.
Kind of has Palmer on the retreat.
Yeah, he does. He's getting after him.
On the edge of the mat again. And got to keep 1 point in, and right now that's Gage Sandoz. He circles back into the mat. Like to see that. Takes a shot, still on the edge.
He's got to keep it going. He's got the leg.
Lifts it high.
I'm just dragging right to the center of the mat here, Sanders.
It's kind of at your discretion of where you want to try to make this move. And he's trying all he can. Palmer trying to get out of bounds. And drapes over the top with 1:05 to go. Now Gage has got to be careful.
Now it's the mat time finish. Now he's got the knee in a really bad position there. That's unfortunate though. See how he did the rights there. You should have like to see him finish that one.
Yeah, it looked like you said, if he would have just like Ronan did in that first match tonight, just take 1 foot, drag him back in.
Right, there was a good hit in the whole corner right there. Sanders got it locked up. There's the takedown. Now we'll see if we can get the pin here. Got plenty of time to get a pin here, so stay in good position here. You got it locked up. Right, once you're stepping over that low, you step between it.
I don't know if he's going to be able to finish this off with the...
He's going to have to adjust the power a little bit if they get it. There, he's got it. Now it's a little better situation.
He's up 6-1. Be careful with 23 seconds left. He's got some swipes.
Now he's got his head. Now we're giving up the reversal here. 16 seconds left. Don't try to give up the reversal, just not a reversal to the back. So that's exactly what happened.
He's going to get 4 points for 9-3 after the 3-point reversal in there with 4 seconds to go. Sandoz will live to fight the third round here.
Let's see if Broken Bow goes top. Nope, it's Sandoz' choice. He's going to go neutral.
Yep, both wrestlers on their feet to finish this one. Third period coming up. Gage Sandoz leads at 9-3.
A couple of freshmen out here battling, correct? Maybe Walford's a freshman as well?
Oh, I think he was. Yeah, but he's a junior. Palmer's a junior.
Palmer's a junior, okay. So Sandoz is out there battling a junior. Oh, good headlock attempt for Broken Bow. We got running forward here. We're just...
Scoreboard, but we can't see what's going on off the balance.
We'll lock his hands and move him through right there. This kid's going to go big. He knows he's down 6 points. Third period.
And he's got some leverage in there. He's a little taller. And
nice shot. Nice sweep. Single by Sanders. He's got a limp on Alice. There's the takedown.
Good job. 3 more. He's going to go up 12-3. So major decision for Gage Sandoz on this one if he hangs on to this with 1:08 to go. Just got to be smart now in this.
Oh, he's got to go off. Just couldn't get quite a little fast enough, and that kid was able to defend it.
53 seconds left. Sandoz doing a good job for a freshman in here. Gets it up around the waist, maybe a little high.
A little high. Doesn't know what he's doing with the legs. He's going to get something trouble here. 36 seconds. This is, I do not like leg if you don't know what you're doing. Now, it's still on top of that kid's got his head way in trouble here. Legs is on trouble. Legs is on trouble. Oh, Bill's out of his head with his head off. He's still out of the legs.
19 seconds left. 10 seconds left to go. 5 seconds left to go. Referee's not done. He's already got the contract. Another exciting match in there.
That freshman will learn from that and move on.
So the Badgers pick up a couple of team points in there, but 42-33, I think, is going to be the final. Broken Bow defeats the Valentine Badgers in the boys. So Badgers came back bottom well in the last matches.
I was really happy for Jason Manawat. It was just a big match right there. If you know Jason Manawat's story, it's incredible. And for him to come out there and get that pin, you see how excited his teammates were for him. So that was awesome.
I think all the Badger Nation,